30 drivers have punched their ticket into the NRT 499 tonight. 36 drivers vied for 3 transfer spots in LCQ1 at a track where danger lurks around every corner, where all your dreams can be dashed in a single blink of your eye. Talladega Superspeedway is coming your way next on the DRL Network.
NRT Game Servers is your best option for your gaming development needs. State-of-the-art technology combined with some of the best voice talent and software out there, NRT gives a quality gaming experience. Dedicated to their craft, NRT provides quality product and services. Contact NRT Game Servers today at 828-212-4040 or at www.nrtservers.com today for a quality gaming experience.
And we welcome you to the DRL Network's live coverage of the NRT Game Servers 499. Tonight, last chance qualifying race number 1 coming to you live from the Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. The 2.66 mile Superspeedway we all know and love. We have 30 tickets punched already into the big Saturday night main event at Texas. We got 6 more tickets punched here over the next 2 nights. We'll punch 3 more tickets tonight. 3 drivers out of this full field. I count 35 drivers going to take the green flag. They're going to have 3 guys transfer. It's going to make for an insane night here live on DRTV as part of the DRL Network. Thank you for everybody out there in YouTube land for watching. As always, my name is Phil LaCasse, along with my broadcast partners, Too Tall Todd Stanton, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, is always in the DRTV control booth. Todd Stanton, full to the gills here at Talladega. We know what it's like when we come here. We've been here many a times before. We're going to see 2, 3, and maybe sometimes 4 wide racing all night long, and we're going to transfer only 3 drivers to the big main event. It's going to make for bedlam here tonight on the DRL Network, and I just can't wait to get this thing started.
Yeah, everybody's going to be pushing that envelope here tonight at the Talladega Superspeedway. Like you said, Phil, 3, 4 wide, 2 wide, 2 by 2, all the way through the field. We're going to see all kinds of excitement here at the Talladega Superspeedway. 3 transfer here from LCQ number 1. You're going to see excitement here, folks, tonight. And you're not going to want to leave your seats for a minute. I'm telling you. That's why I say strap yourself in, because you're in for a wild ride here this evening.
We're going to be absolutely wild here. And just looking up and down the sheet, I mean, this split race is loaded with heavy hitters from top to bottom. 35 drivers, rather, here ready to take the green flag to transfer 3 spots. Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton. We've been talking about it all week long, waiting for the drama of what's going to be Talladega tonight with such few transfer spots and such a big field. Said heavy hitters here up and down this field. It's going to make for an awesome night. And you know, we're looking for the best of the best to advance out of this thing, but there's going to be some pretty dang good drivers that may be on the outside looking in when this night's over.
Yeah, you said that right. You know, we were looking forward to it. We know we got some interviews earlier in the week in the first 6 qualifying races where these guys were very pleased that they got on Saturday night's event and not having to go through this Talladega race for tonight and tomorrow night. Like you said, we've got a full field here tonight. There's going to be some big names in this sim community going home tonight. We're only taking the top 3. Tonight we're at Talladega, 2.66 mile tri-oval track, super speedway. We're looking at 76 laps. Damage is realistic. We're running 2X tire wear. Pit window appears to be between 21 and 26 laps, and pit speed looks to be 55 mile an hour. I think we're just getting ready to watch the first of 2 episodes of unbelievable dog-eat-dog racing.
Yeah, I can't say that better. Dog eat dog is going to be the name of the game. You know, we've seen Talladega so many times where, you know, guys like the log laps, ride in line, make laps. But when we got this big main event atmosphere, Todd, we're 2 nights away from the NRT 499. 30 drivers have already locked their way in. 3 more are going to transfer out of this thing. I mean, it's just going to make for this absolute wild show here tonight, I think. When we get down to maybe not so much excitement through the first half of this race, but when the excitement level gets to pick up here with 76 laps around, I think when we get around that lap 50 mark, I think things see things get really crazy real quick.
Yeah, and you're going to see a bunch of different strategies. You're going to see two-tire pit stops. You're going to see no-tire pit stops, gas and goes. You're going to see some of these guys working together. Some of these guys have been talking to each other, one another, since they've learned they've been in this LCQ #1. They're trying to partner up on the speedway, and you're going to see exactly that here at Talladega. You really can't go anywhere without a partner at the Talladega Super Speedway, and especially when you're pitting, Phil. You don't want to be all by yourself. We've seen a long time ago David Day, Mr. Excitement, when he was pitting at a Talladega Super Speedway, he went in all by himself, and guess what happened to him? He didn't make the big show in that last chance qualifier. So that's something you got to learn from. If you've been watching DRTV, some of these guys learn real quick, even going through our archives, Phil, that some of these mistakes other drivers make, they learn from them.
All right, well, we're just about 4.5 minutes away from putting these drivers onto the grid and putting them under the green flag conditions. But, of course, we all know why we're here. It's NRT week. All this being done for NRT game servers. The 499-mile trek at the Texas Motor Speedway coming this Saturday night, 2 nights from now. Cannot wait to get to Texas. But Rich Patton, so many people along the way, they've stepped up and helped us out in a big way this week. So many great sponsors and just such a great thing to be a part of, all this community atmosphere. It's all been so great to be around, and so thankful for all of them involved. And I want to give you the microphone to just give a shout out to all our sponsors and to thank everybody out there who's made this possible for us.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. The name of the game this week is NRT Game Servers 499. As Phil mentioned, it's at Texas Saturday night. Everybody's fighting to get into the 499-mile event around Texas Motor Speedway. So going to be hectic, going to be a lot of good drivers in that race, and it's going to be a long one. So let's kick it off with our sponsors tonight. First thing, obviously, we're going to talk about NRT game servers. If you're looking for a game server, whether it's a web server, game server, whatever you're looking for, TeamSpeak servers, you name it, Dave Stanley over at Game Servers or NRTGameservers.com can take care of you without a doubt. Best customer service in the business when it comes to this. So you're looking for something to get into gaming, get into TeamSpeak servers, web servers, whatever, get in touch with Dave Stanley over at NRT Game Servers. That's the place to be. Also, big sponsor for this whole week-long event, Image Space Incorporated. They're the makers of R Factor 2, coming at you with awesome graphics, unbelievable games. We'll get to their commercial later in the night, but hats off to Image Space Incorporated, also known as ISI. We really appreciate you guys being on board for this event. Also, DRL Network. You can get a hold of us over at drlnetwork.com. DRL Network is the home of DRTV, so anything you're looking for DRTV related, that's where you're going to want to go. We've got all kinds of things going over there, so it's a good time to check it out on the website, see what we've got going on, and get involved in the DRL Network. And then once again, DRTV Sim Racing Television. If you're looking for the best in sim racing television, you found it right here at DRTV. DRTV's home is DRL Network. If you're wanting to get your league broadcasted live on DRTV, head over to drlnetwork.com, check it out. Get a hold of myself, Rich, Phil, or Todd. We will be more than happy to take care of you, and customer service is also our name of the game. So back up to you guys in the booth.
All right, well, just about 2 minutes away from putting this thing under the green flag conditions. 35 drivers here set and ready to go for 76 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. Cannot wait to get this thing going here in just about a minute and a half away from the green flag. But Todd Stanton, one of the great things we've seen here this week as part of this event, so many people have stepped up with a great prize package. And I think we have a trophy for tonight's race winner on the line. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, tonight we do have a trophy here for Last Chance Qualifier #1, graciously being brought to you by Rolling Thunder Gaming. They're going to actually donate a trophy to the winner here this evening, so that's awful nice of everybody over at RollingThunderGaming.com. Terry Bauman, Dave Cannon, Sean Prime, all those guys over there donating a trophy here for Last Chance Qualifier #1. Last Chance Qualifier #2 will have a trophy also donated by Insomniac Motorsports, and thanks goes out to Ed Stancliffe. Excuse me, Ed. I know you're out there on YouTube, and also Jesse Klein, the owners of Insomniac Motorsports. So LCQ 1 and 2 both have trophies for the winners.
All right, well, thanks to all of them guys. You know, Insomniac RTG stepping up with the winners' trophies here for these last chance qualifying races. And I think when you get to the end of one of these things here, like we're going to see tonight, it's definitely going to be a win well earned. And Todd, we are just about 30 seconds away from putting the trucks onto the grid. We're going to turn them loose here at Talladega for 76 laps. So, partner, we might as well dive straight into the starting lineup.
And now your starting lineup for Last Chance Qualifier number 1 of the NRT 499 from the Talladega Super Speedway. Starting on the pole, driving the 115 truck tonight, that is Sean Lockyer. And outside of him is driving the number 99, that's Doug Woolley.
Rolling off on position number 3 will be the 038, the Napa machine being piloted by JT Mayhew. On the outside in the 033, that's the Star Fox, Tony Fox.
Next row back, starting in the 5th starting position, that's the 590, that's Herman Reese. And outside of him, one of the alternates that made the show here this evening, the 124 of Roger Bevins.
Rolling off from 7th position tonight will be the driver of truck number 428. That'll be Mark Paglia on the outside of row number 4. Position number 8 in the 032, that'll be Brian Bliss.
Inside row number 5, starting in the 9th starting position, that's the number 38, that's Shane Vickers. And outside of him, that's the Sidewinder, that's the number 55, that's Scott Schroyer.
The 54 is going to roll off tonight from the 11th position. The 54 being driven by Robbie Nisus, and on the outside of row number 6 in the number 10, that'll be Randy Schneider.
Next row back, Rolling Thunder Gaming's own Terry Baughman starts in that 13th starting position in the 669, and Chris Van Vliet in the 010 starts 14th.
15th starter tonight will be the driver of the 666. That'll be Emmanuel Guzman, and in the back, outside of him, in the number 88, that's the Punisher, Craig Meyer.
Starting in that 17th starting position, Extreme Graphics sponsored machine, that's the 086, that's Jim Black, and his dancing partner to the outside, that's the 71, that's Bruce Heil.
The 41 will roll off tonight deep in the field from 19th position. The 41 being piloted by Max Moreno. On the outside, in the number 65, that'll be Jeff Marble.
Another Extreme Graphics truck in the field here tonight. That's the number 8. That's Joe Archer. And outside of him, driving the number 56, Insomniac Motorsports sponsored machine. That's Barry Willinghampton.
Rolling off from 23rd tonight will be the driver of the 89. That'll be Jack Truin. On the outside of row number 12, 24 starter in the double knot 1. That's Jeremy Hebel.
Starting 25th on the field, that's the number 53. That's Dakota Wilkins. And outside of him, that's the Flying Fossil driving the number 69. That's Keith Patton.
69 also celebrating a birthday here today. Well, this is Keith Patton, the 69. Rolling off tonight from position number 27 in truck number 80. That'll be Ed Finley. And on the outside in the 28th starting position, row 14, in the number 70, that's Jason Skaraki.
Starting 29th on the field, that's the driver in the number 19. That's Jeff Goodpaster. And outside of him, that's Hamilton Barrera in the 022.
31st position tonight will start the 059. That'll be Rich Warden. On the outside of row number 16 in the 18, that'll be Bill Martino.
Starting 33rd on the field, that's the 024. That's Matt Lesniewski. And starting outside of him, that's Zach Freeman.
Last row tonight, we find the 013. That'll be driven by Charles Hooper. And on the outside of him, start shotgun on the field in the 83. That'll be Sebastian Diaz. That is your full field starting rundown here. I count 34 drivers going to start at the take the bell here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Just jam-packed all the way around here at Talladega tonight. They've got the command of fire engines there pulling away from pit road as we speak, and we're going to put Last Chance Qualifying race number 1 here under the green flag in just about 2/3 of a lap from now as they exit turn number 2. You know, 3 drivers. We've talked about it all week long here. Talladega is just anybody's race. It basically put it to the floor, work the draft all night long, but by the end of the night, you've got to find your way in these top 3 positions. So much can happen. You got to stay out of the wrecks here. We got realistic damage. You got to keep your nose clean. Also, thinking about that, you know, you got to hit your pit stops. If we pit under the green flag, you got to hit those marks. Absolutely perfect. So much here left to decide, Todd. So much can go on here in a hurry at Talladega. You know, what do you think is going to be the strategy for these guys riding around here about that mid-pack?
Out mid-pack, they're going to mind their P's and Q's. Some of those guys you're going to start seeing a drop to the back of the pack and maybe just wait for that big one to happen. Like I said, something's always lurking around every corner here at the Talladega Super Speedway, and your hopes and dreams of getting into that NRT 499 can be dashed in a single second, Phil. So it's going to be interesting to see how all these guys are going to play their strategies here tonight, play their cards right. High-speed chess match about to get underway here, Phil.
Yeah, and the field working its way to turns number 3 and 4. Pacing behind the DRTV pace fan, the NRT Game Service pace fan. Beautiful job there done by J-Rock. Look at that thing. It survived the night here at the Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to survive at least one more. 76 laps is the distance here tonight. The DRTV pace fan making its way toward pit road. 76 laps to big main event distance. Todd, Sean Lockyer, Doug Woolley. That's going to be your front row. Going to take about 2 laps to get this thing up to speed, but we're about to put that lap pedal down for the first time.
Yeah, it's going to be Lockyer, Fox starting on the front row here. Green flag is in the air, and we're racing here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Make sure those belts are tight and you're strapped into your seat, because here comes the wild ride from the Talladega Super Speedway. 3 positions left to be decided here for the evening, for tonight at least. So we'll have 33 drivers at the end of this race that make the NRT 499. Sean Lockyer leads Tony Fox into turn 1 and off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Also, the 038 of JT Mayhew and Roger Bevins. That rounds out your top 4 right now. Those guys staying single file. Battle for that 5th spot, Phil.
Yeah, battle is for that 5th spot. Looks like it's Brian Bliss there in the 032 and the Sidewinder Scott Schroyer in the number 55 also there as well. The 38 of Shane Vickers. He's also right there in that Bomb Squad racing machine. 4 drivers under a blanket racing for 4th off of turn 4.
Yeah, that top group starting to get some momentum. The 032 of Brian Bliss on the outside with the number 55 of Scott Schroyer on the top side. That's the Sidewinder. Those guys making some headway on the top side of the speedway. Again, Phil, we're going to say all night long, that bottom group, you're going to watch those guys check up on the bottom. You can keep your momentum up on that top side. A lot less checking up there.
A lot less checking up there. You don't want to hold these things down to the bottom too much here as they work off turn number 4. Field coming off down the back straightaway, being led by the 115, the pole sitter of Sean Lockyer, Tony Fox, JT Mayhew, Brian Bliss. That was your top 4 last time by. 2 wide for about that 4th position on back, Todd, as they exit turn 4.
Yeah, Brian Bliss starting to make some headway in that 032 machine. He's alongside Roger Bevins, and now pulls up alongside the number 38 machine. That's JT Mayhew. Put Brian Bliss in the final transfer spot as of right now, Phil.
Yeah, Brian Bliss, the 032, finds his way into that transfer spot, as you said, up to the 3rd spot. He's up to the high side trying to make something happen there. He's alongside the 38 of JT Mayhew. They're racing for the 3rd spot. He's got Scott Schroyer tucked all up on his rear bumper in that high lane. Down low, it appears to be that number 12 machine. And there's the 124, rather, of Roger Bevins there, and it looks like we've had a spinner on the racetrack. Todd, not sure if you caught that out of the corner of your eye what happened, but looks like we're still all clean and green here as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that, but I was seeing people still spinning on the back straightaway. That's the Punisher, Craig Meyer. He's around down on the bottom side. No yellow flag out there at Talladega. That's interesting to say, Phil, because there was a couple of trucks involved in that. I believe that was a 54 of Robbie Nices also involved in some of that contact there on the back straightaway. So those guys way back now. That's not very good for some of those two participants here in this last chance qualifier number 1.
No, absolutely not what you want to see, but these guys up to the front of the field, they're trying to do all they can have to do. Stay up there in clean air, stay away from any kind of the carnage. That's what Sean Lockyer in the 115 is doing. He's got Tony Fox right there in his back bumper holding that low lane. The battle is for the 3rd spot. Brian Bliss there on the outside lane in the 032. JT Mayhew in the Napa blue and white there, number 38. That's a beautiful looking machine there, racing alongside for the 3rd spot. Right behind them, side by side, Roger Bevins, Scott Schroyer. That's racing for about 6th on back off of turn 4.
Yeah, 6 on back off of turn 4. These guys pretty much 2 by 2 through the field right now. You got Randy Schneider starting to make some headway on the top side in that number 10 machine, number 10 machine. He's starting to make some headway up there. We're watching a battle right now between Scott Schroyer and Mark Pagula. Pagula is starting to make some headway on the bottom side. So these guys are 2 by 2 through the field right now. Your top 3 drivers on the field, the Sean Lockyer machine, Tony Fox, JT Mayhew, and Roger Bevins have no challenges right now. They're single file on the bottom side. Bliss still stuck up on the top side with the 55 of Scott Schroyer coming here into turn number 3, but they're trying to make some headway. Not enough help up there on the top side to get it going yet, Phil.
No, not quite working there in the top side for them guys in the high lane. Currently working lap number 5. We'll put 6 on the board as a hit back to the start-finish line. But Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, I believe you have a replay there. We saw some carnage, but still under the green flag, but it was a multiple-car incident. Show us what happened.
Yeah, most definitely going to keep our eyes on the 88 of Craig Meyer. Looks like they come off the corner. He's down on the low side in that Tide machine. Gets a little bit loose. Tries to save it. Overcorrects it a little bit. He's going to go out, bounce off another truck, come back across the 54, take him with him. As you can see there, Craig's trying to be Superman, but he's not too good at it. He comes back on the pavement. All 4 tires back on the rubber. Doesn't look like any rolling. And everything seems to be good to go so far. They kept moving. I'm assuming that's why the caution never came back out. But tough break. Definitely going to see some damage on the 54 and the 88, guys. Back up to you.
All right, and with that realistic damage here at Talladega, Todd, that's definitely not what you want to happen there for Robbie Nisus and Craig Meyer. Currently 30th position on back on those two drivers, 27-plus seconds of the rear. That's certainly not what those two guys wanted to see here. Still got a lot of laps left to go. You know, we're going to expect at some point tonight you're going to see something mixing up here. You know, try to avoid the big one at all costs. But, you know, racing the way they are at the Talladega Superspeedway, those guys who just soldier on and maybe fight their way to stay under the lead lap, they may find themselves okay here a little later on.
Yeah, they may find themselves okay a little bit later on. Now JT Mayhew peeks out of line. He's down on the bottom side with that number 038 machine. Now he's side by side with Tony Fox. Lockyer coming down. He blocks the momentum from the 038 machine. Lockyer trying to stay in the lead in that 115. Here comes the 038 of JT Mayhew. He is now into the second spot. He has help from the 124 of Roger Bevins. We are 3 wide, Phil.
3 wide, Tony Fox in the 33. He got stuck in that sucker hole, as we call it, there in the middle lane. He's going to drop now well outside the top 5. Now a 3 wide move. JT Mayhew in the 38. He's going to try to pull the Napa machine to the middle lane. They're almost 3 wide. Looks like JT's got no help, Todd. He'll fall back in line into 2 wide formation off of turn 2.
Yeah, JT Mayhew was trying to make some kind of move stick there in the middle, but now Brian Bliss has all kinds of momentum on the top side. Bliss has help from the sidewinder, Scott Schroyer. Schroyer now propelling Brian Bliss out into the lead. Remember, Brian Bliss has had a pretty good run going for him here in one of the qualifying races. Now he is out in front of the LCQ race in that number 032 machine.
Yeah, having a great run of it there and a good run so far out the gate. But number 10 of Randy Snyder, he's that third truck tucked in that high lane, that Extreme Graphics Chevrolet. That's a beautiful looking paint job done there by Joe Archer over there at Extreme Skins. Third truck up in line, the number 10. I know he was real excited at Talladega. He thought he could fare really well here tonight. Randy Snyder currently in the top 5, Todd, doing a real good job here on the open laps.
Yeah, fantastic job for Randy Snyder. Snyder trying to work on that top side. Now Lockyer now dropping to the back of the back. The 115 with no help on the bottom side. That top group starting to prevail. Brian Bliss is your leader with the 55 of Scott Schroyer second now. Randy Schneider moves into third. Still fighting on the bottom side is Sean Lockyer, but here comes Terry Bauman. Where'd he come from in that 669 machine? He moves up to fourth.
Yeah, he's right there in that fourth spot now, that top lane. As we said, Todd, you want to keep that thing up high as long as you can. Able to keep that gas pedal down a lot longer. And now as we look up in front of Terry Bauman, currently fourth. The race for that second spot heating up. Randy Snyder, he put the number 10 to the low side. Not sure that's going to be the best of ideas, Todd. He tried to pull along the Scott Schroyer machine. That may open the door for Terry Bauman as the outside is on the move exiting turn 2.
Yeah, outside on the move as Randy Schneider drifts up the track trying to get some side draft off Terry Bauman. Bauman now goes to third. He is in the final transfer position. We got 2 Extreme Graphics cars or trucks fighting side by side. There's a dollar, Phil. Side by side, you have the 86 of Jim Black, the 086, and I believe that is Randy Schneider on the bottom side.
All right, looking on your screen here at these 2 distinct packs here. We look at the interval, 16 trucks broken away in this lead pack by about 2 seconds strong over first through 16th. That second pack being led by the Joe Archer machine, Zach Freemow, Ed Finley in there. Those guys about 5.5 seconds off the pace, 3 seconds back off this lead pack. What do you think the strategy is for those guys in that second pack, Todd? Do you think they're just going to log laps and maybe try to miss some of the excitement? Do you think that's the right strategy play this early?
I think that is the right strategy play this early. I'm the type of guy that wants to lay back and not be in that big pack. And you know how it is, 2, 3, 4 wide, you get kind of nervous. You don't want to tear your truck up. You want to be here at the end. If you finish first, you must finish the race, as I'm going to slaughter that term, but I've heard that many of times. And you guys, the guys in the middle pack, I think have the right strategy right now, Phil. And it may burn me later in the event, but that's something that I would do. And I know, Phil, you like to lag back and not be in the hot mix like up front right now.
No, they call out the hornet's nest, and I certainly am not one who likes to be in that. And once upon a time, I was pretty good at one of these restrictor plate races, and you know, we could drive up to the front, but I thought the strategy back in the day was for me just to keep charging. So I'm not sure if I'm out there in our DRTV Motorsports machines, I want to be in that lead pack. I want to be mixing up there in the top 16 because the way this thing's looking right now, we're going to stay under the green flag conditions. We're probably about a handful of laps away from maybe our first round of green flag pit stops. And if that's the case, I want to be up there in that lead pack because I want to gain all I can get on pit road. You know, pit road here is so tricky. You cannot make a mistake. You cannot afford to get a black flag. You can do everything absolutely perfect on the mark here at Talladega. If I'm out there, Todd, I want to be at the front of this field.
Meanwhile, back up to the front of the field as yellow flag's going to fly as we're getting ready for a 2x2 battle up front for the lead. Terry Bauman and Brian Bliss, but yellow flag is out there on the speedway, Phil. Not sure what happened. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of it, but I see some trucks around here in the tri-oval, some still slamming the wall.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what happened, but seeing multiple trucks pulling away. I don't know if this could be considered the big one, but Rich will give us a look here on the DRTV replay to figure out what transpired here. But we're under the first yellow flag of the night, working lap number 13 of 76, so a lot of racing still left to go. Can't imagine that pit road is not going to be open. It's going to be a very, very busy. Everybody's going to come to pit road, but if you're these guys up in this lead pack, what's going to be your strategy? You're going to take 2 tires, 4 tires, or no tires when you come in?
I'm going to take 4 tires, Phil. And when you first come in, 4 tires will be the call for me distance, and then I'd probably make a 2-tire pit stop or no tire pit stop if we stay underneath green flag. I'm not sure what else happened here for that with that replay, but I'm watching these guys to see if they're going to come down pit road. As Terry Bauman looks like he's committed to come down pit road in that 669 machine. Also, Brian Bliss in the 032. He is your current race leader. He was waiting on that pace van to get by him, and now Bliss is going to take that dive down to pit road in that 032 machine. The 669, Terry Bauman, Scott Schroyer. I believe all these guys coming down on pit road. I see a couple of guys staying out, but I believe they'll come back in later on in the going and try to make this a field race. But we're looking at right now the 032 of Brian Bliss. Bliss coming down pit road. Going to see what kind of call he makes aboard that 032 machine as he's sliding down into his pit stall. Makes a nice pit stop. Does not slide all the way through. Looks like he's going to get no tires. I don't see any Jackman out there, Phil. Looks like he's just taking gas and going.
I'm down here on the far side of pit road in the 86 pit of Jim Black. Looks like it's going to be just a gas and go only for the 86 of Jim Black. Seeing some tires here further down pit road. Looks like it's at least 2 tires for Craig Meyer. Can't imagine that's not the right call for him. Looks like it was 2 right side tires for Randy Snyder as well. And Robbie Nice is finding his pit stall for 2 right side tires. I'm going to throw it down to the booth to Mr. TV Time Rich Patton. I believe he's ready with the replay.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on the 001. That's going to be Jeremy Hebel as he runs through here. Not sure if they make, sorry about that, Hebel. Mentioned that wrong. Looks like he got together right there with the 38, it appears. Might have come down a little bit on him, did a little bit of squeeze. It's not always better to have 8 tires. Sometimes it's better to have only 4 tires, and I think we're seeing it right there. That's going to send the 001 around, send him back up towards the wall. Tough break for him. We're going to kind of pan this out just a little bit because there's other things going on that we just don't quite see yet. So meanwhile, the 001's going to sit here. We've got some more traffic coming in that second pack, and we're going to go ahead and play this at full speed and let that get by us real quick. We will slow it down as soon as that happens. The 020 or the 24 also gets loose. He's going to get spun sideways. Next thing you know, he is now around. Let's get that camera flipped over to him real quick so we can show you what's going on with him as well. I'm going to keep it on him now. We should be able to flip this around and let you guys see what's actually going on. As he gets his truck spun around, he's facing the wrong direction. Also, we saw the 80 in that pretty little Jeep pickup truck. He goes around as well down on the apron. Doesn't look like anybody's really getting banged up or beat up too bad, so probably just some flat-spotted tires. Hopefully, this shouldn't really destroy anybody's night so far, guys. Back up to you.
All right, well, that's a DRTV replay. And, Rich, I have to ask you, did you say pretty Jeep little pickup truck?
I did. I am a huge Jeep fan, and I am so thrilled to see that Jeep out there.
All right, well, Todd Stanton, I'm not sure if that qualifies as a Richism, but this certainly got my attention.
Well, I think it does qualify as a Richism. We're going to have to put that into the long book list of Richisms here. We're going to have to have a dictionary for them and get meanings to them too, Phil.
Yeah, I think that'll be the case here. So rolling out under the first yellow flag of the night, working lap number 15 of the 76 here. DRTV's live coverage of NRT 499 week here, live from the Texas Motor Speedway 2 nights from now for the big main event. But we still have 2 last chance qualifying races here to settle. One tonight here at Talladega and also at Talladega Super Speedway here tomorrow night. 3 drivers will qualify out of each race. The top 3 finishers transfer to Saturday night's big NRT game servers, $4.99 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Cannot wait to get there for that 333-lap trek around the 1.5 mile Texas Motor Speedway 2 nights from now. When we look to the front of this field, Todd, it looks like pit stops have all recycled. It looks like Brian Bliss, Terry Bauman, Scott Schroyer, Roger Bevins, and Bruce Hiles going to be your current top 5. 6 through 10, Mark Paglia, Sean Lockyer, Jim Black, Zach Freemow, and Jeff Marble currently have a great run of the top 10. You know, saw a lot of these guys down on pit road. Saw a lot of 2 tires. Saw a lot of gas and goes. I didn't see much in the way of 4 tires, which I'm kind of stunned by.
Yeah, some of these guys, I even hear some of these guys clutching, Phil, early on in the going, starting to get their fuel strategy in play here. And some of these guys clutching around the Talladega Super Speedway. I think they're going to try to last a little bit longer. I want to give a shout out to everybody in YouTube that's out there watching us. A lot of guys in there chatting it up. They were chatting it up again before the race was even started. But I have to give a shout out. I see Rusty Little in there again. I see Bob Tompkins, Jim Shorts, Joe Bishop. He's making a comment about Rich's little Richism there. He's laughing about Pretty Little Truck, and he goes, "Oh my!" So they're out there. You got Brian Schilling, Chuck McClure's out there, Reaper's out there. There's all. They're just scrolling through here in this chat box, Phil. It's awesome. It's awesome to see everybody in their enthusiasm in this chat box here every night that we're out here.
That's been one of the coolest things I think about this entire week. Not only have we brought the entire community together as a whole here under one roof to put such a great event on, this one-of-a-kind event here, this multi-track challenge we've got here this week. But, you know, you look at all the interaction on the chat box. These guys are the reason why we're here. I mean, just watching the conversation, being able to interact with these guys all night long, I think that's one of the extreme joys we get out of doing this up in the booth. You know, seeing so many familiar names out there. I'm seeing, you know, Carson Krenz, Gary Piccolo, just among a host of names out there each and every night this week. Gary Piccolo, I got a message for you from Todd Stanton up here asking if you're in sync tonight, ready to go. I know you're out there watching your Redline Motorsports teammate out there in Scott Schroyer. I'm seeing the shout-outs for that. You know, also seeing a lot of guys out there. Just the conversation, Todd. Just such a cool atmosphere this week, and it's just made everything, you know, all the effort that's gone into everybody behind the scenes. When you see this going on here, all the interaction, all the excitement building up, it's just made for such a great atmosphere this week.
Yeah, it's made for a great atmosphere. As Pace Light's still on top that DRTB Pace fan. It looks like they came back on. I thought they were off there for a minute there, Phil, but still talking about this chat box and everybody down there. It's fantastic to see everybody having questions down there and just shooting it up. And they're probably drinking some brews down there, drinking some beer and taking some shots of liquor and everything like that. And we're not part of that, but I'm sure we'll be part of that after this.
All right, so just waiting word from pit road here with DRTV Pace Fan Lights still on here as they work their way off of turn number 4. So we're at least a lap away from putting this thing back under the green flag conditions. You know, you look at it, Todd, currently 16 laps of 76 to go. So, you know, so much racing here left to go, but we're looking at the fuel window here now. About 18 to 21 laps here. Do you think these guys are going to look to break that up or maybe just pit on that 18-lap window, or do you think these guys are going to look at the very tail end, try to stretch this fuel all you can?
Well, we know Phil isn't a math major, but we've tested this track, and I believe it's about 21 to 26 laps around this speedway here this evening. It's a little bit different setup than we're accustomed to. And, Phil, we're no math majors, and you just proved it that we're not a math major. But you're saying 18 to 21 laps. It would be right at a normal Talladega with a different setup that we have. But the setup that's in it now, when we were out there testing it, actually, it was telling me about 30 laps, but it's actually 21 to 26 once you get going at full RPMs.
Well, we've certainly documented it time after time here. We certainly can't do math up here in the booth, but Rich Fan, I know you're a math major down there. You're a lot smarter guy than the two of us. You've got that International Space Station, as I call it, down there at your controls here, night after night on DRTV. I'm sure your math's going to be a whole lot better than ours, and I'm sure you're down there chuckling as you hear us try to sound like math majors up here.
Well, let me tell you this. I do know that 1 + 1 = 2. That's about as far as I'm going to go.
I don't know how to follow that, but thankfully we could get back to green flag action here in just about half a lap. Not exactly sure how to follow that as he's just cracking up in my ear. You know, we like to clown around here on DRTV. 4th consecutive night on the air. 2 more to go, including the granddaddy, the NRT 499 at the Texas Motor Speedway 2 nights from now. Cannot wait to get to Texas, but we have a lot here left to settle here at Talladega. 3 drivers going to transfer out of this last chance qualifying race number 1. We're going to do this all over again tomorrow night, if you can believe it. 2 jam-packed nights here from Talladega. We get a full server of trucks on hand tonight. 34 taking the green flag. 3 trucks will transfer out. The DRTV pace van about to make the hard left-hand turn onto pit road. And as we know at Talladega, the start-finish line onsets over toward turn number 1, so they're going to roll all the way through the triangle. It's going to be Brian Bliss, Terry Bauman, and Scott Schroyer. He'll restart in the catbird seat, Todd, anticipating just about a lap and a half to get these things up the full song, but I think we're going to see hot and heavy action here starting real fast.
Yeah, his green flag's in the air, Phil, and Terry Bauman immediately to the high side in the 669 machine. He wasn't waiting. Bliss looks like he had a bad start in that 032 machine. Now Terry Bauman to the lead in that 669 machine. Beautifully prepared machine. I'm telling you, that truck is awesome looking out there on the speedway right now. The 032 of Brian Bliss is still sitting in 2nd. 3rd would be Scott Schroyer. Roger Bevins is 4th. 5th now is the number 71 of Bruce Heil. These guys single file right now, Phil. But like you said, lap and a half to get up to full song.
Lap and a half to get up to full song, as you said, as they march into turn number 3. Still single file through the top 3 positions. Out Roger Bevins at 124. That monster machine, he pulls to the low side, trying to pull to the low side of the Scott Schroyer machine. He's got, looks like Mark Paglia there right behind him, pushing in that low lane for 3rd spot there, Todd.
Yeah, Roger Bevins right now stalling out on the bottom side again. The top groove prevailing here early on in the going. Bevins trying to motor it down on the bottom side with Pagula on the bottom and the 115 of Sean Lockyer. You also got the 56 machine of Willinghamton. I call him Pantelica. That's normally what he goes by. But the number 56 working on the bottom side trying to get this bottom groove going. But the top groove is working well together in lockstep. These guys pretty fast on the top side right now, Phil. It looks like that's the groove of choice here this evening.
I think that's going to be the lane of choice here as we just click lap after lap here. Currently working lap number 19. It is RTG owns Terry Bauman up in the race lead in the 669. Now you look at the back of that truck. I'm not sure how much of a great look we can get on it here with the cameras here on DRTV tonight. But the back of that truck, it says back off. And I think Terry Bauman, I love these guys to back off, let him push out to the race lead all night long. But you look behind him, Todd, we got 33 other drivers out on the racetrack. And they are marching in that low lane for the race lead. Here comes Roger Bevins to the low side off of turn 2.
Here we go. These drivers trying to prove me wrong. I said the high side was the preferred groove, and now the bottom side starting to make headway. The 124 of Roger Bevins working on the bottom side with Pagula. These guys working pretty good together. You're seeing these guys go into the corner on the top side. It looks like they're a little bit slower than what the bottom side is. Of course, going around the circle, the fastest way is on the bottom side of the speedway, but it looks like they gain a little bit through the corners, and then off the corners, all that momentum on the top side with the 669 of Terry Bauman still leading, and the 032 of Brian Bliss still pushing him with Scott Schroyer. These guys working really well on the top side. Bottom side really coming in too, Phil.
Yeah, what you're seeing there as they enter these big sweeping corners here at Talladega, that inside line gets a tremendous charge there driving down into the corner, but as the RPMs, that outside line start to wind up, they get a great run off the exit of these corners. And we see this time after time here at Talladega, how that outside line really prevails at the exit of these corners. It's making for some great racing action. 2 wide throughout this lead pack. I'm counting 30 trucks strong, Todd, off of turn 4.
Roger Bevins now to the lead. He inches in front of Bauman there off of corner number 4, but Bauman fights back on the high side in that 669 machine. All kinds of momentum, but it looks like Bevins starting to mount some kind of a charge on the bottom. He's going to actually have second at the line just barely over the 032 of Brian Bliss. What a race up here up front, Phil. They're 2x2, and here comes Bevins once again challenging down on the bottom side. They're still 2x2.
Yeah, still 2x2. Mark Paglia just doing all he can to shove the Roger Bevins machine up toward the race lead. Also got help in the low lane from Sean Lockyer on the 115 there as well. You know, the side-by-side, two wide, and it looks like all the way back to 30th position. All these guys in touch with the race leaders as they hit turn number 3. It's a side-by-side drag race up at the front of the field. with Terry Bauman in that high side. Roger Bevins down low, almost 3 wide for about 5th on back. It looks like Jim Black almost peeked into the middle of the Bruce Heil machine. They fall back in a 2 wide formation. Still battling for that race lead. Maybe Roger Bevins may have the lead at the line this time.
Still in truck, in truck. I'm going to say it's kind of in car, but in truck in the cockpit with the number 55 of Scott Schroyer. I was watching some incidents happening towards the back of the pack, and the 41 of Max Marino, I believe, has now pulled it behind the wall. Retired from this event. He was down into the inside wall. Not sure what happened to Max, but Max retired. He's going to finish up tonight 33rd in that number 41 machine. Tough break for Max Marino aboard him.
Yeah, and also Charles Hooper in the 013 looks like he's pulled that thing behind the wall. Looks like his evening is done there. Those gentlemen will finish up 33rd and 34th, respectively. We're only going to transfer 3 drivers out of this event. That's right, 3 drivers out of the 32 left on the racetrack will punch their ticket onto the Texas Motor Speedway here 2 nights from now for the NRT Game Servers 499. It's been a great battle at the front of this field between Terry Bauman, Roger Bevins pulling up that inside line. Brian Bliss last time by, Todd, looked to push Terry to the race lead. Could not quite clear that battle. They're still side by side for the 2nd spot down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Roger Bevins down on the bottom side. It looks like they're not actually getting any kind of a pull with that 124 machine as he's trying to get down on the bottom, but it's just that high side just has so much momentum coming off the corner, and you almost see Bliss and Terry Bauman, if they really wanted to, coming off the corner, they could drift down in front of them, but they've been running the high side pretty efficiently, and you won't see them come down the track, I don't believe, in front of Bevins and the 428 of Mark Pagula. They're running pretty good up on the top side as we go around the speedway, so it's interesting to see, Phil, these guys 2x2 through this whole field, and you're saying they're about 30 trucks deep here right now. And it's interesting to see these guys side by side this early on in the going still.
Yeah, 30 trucks all in tow with that lead pack. 2 drivers that have lost top of that lead pack are the 19 of Jeffrey Goodpaster and also Rich Warden in the 059. Those guys are off of this lead pack, separated by under 2 seconds, all the way from 1st, all the way back to 30th position. It is great racing, 2 wide throughout this field, something we're very accustomed to here when we come to the Talladega Superspeedway. Haven't seen much in the way of peaking out 3 wide. These guys, Todd, look to be content to ride around in the line. Now that outside line starting to prevail, as it looks like Terry Bauman and Brian Bliss have pulled out to the advantage. Also looks like Bruce Heil is going to score his way up into the 4th spot there. The race now for the 5th spot between Bevins and the 124 and Jim Black in the 86 off of turn 2.
Yeah, now Bevins motoring back down on the bottom side. He pulls up alongside of Bruce Heil, but look at that top groove move down the back straightaway. Now, the 86 of Jim Black, the number 8 of Joe Archer, they're pulling up alongside of Bevins. So this inside groove is starting to stall on the bottom side, Phil. You're seeing it right now live here on DRTV, and these guys trying to make some headway, but it's just not happening for them right now.
Low line, as said, this looks to be stalled out. Numbers look to be in the favor of that outside line. Are you seeing that coming off of the corners? They are getting such a big head of steam. They just laying waste to that 124 of Roger Bevins. We'll see where Roger clocks in this time by at the line. Looks like he'll fall all the way back to that 6th spot. That top lane certainly prevailing. Now a high-low switch from Jim Black in the 086. He was currently last time by in the 5th position. He looked to pull down to the low side. Had to fall back in the outside line. They're still single file in the top 5 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're just staying pretty much on that top groove right now. Look at the flying fossil, Keith Patton, the birthday boy here this evening. He's moving up through the field pretty efficiently in that number 69 machine. Him and the Extreme Graphics truck seem to be working together here early on in the going, but Keith Patton moving up to, I believe that's just outside the top 5 there. He's about in the 6th position in that number 69 machine. We haven't talked much about him earlier, but now we can talk about him, Phil. The flying fossil, Keith Patton.
Yeah, he's having a great run in that Wounded Warrior TDR Racing Ford, that number 69. Keith out there currently last time by in that 7th position. He's side by side with Joe Archer for 6, stuck on that inside line. Looks like it may be Jim Black just ahead of him in that other Extreme Designs truck that's out in the speedway. Those guys are side by side racing for the 7th spot down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're working pretty hard trying to get this bottom groove going at once again. And Patton's working pretty well with the number 086 of Jim Black. Black now pulling up alongside the 71 of Bruce Heil. So the bottom group's starting to get some more numbers, trying to play the numbers game and trying to get up towards the front again. But these guys on the top side are just so fast, Phil.
And I think that's just all the advantages. Just able to keep that loud pedal, as you say. Able to keep that thing to the floor a little bit longer, but you can play this draft if you're deep in line. Look at the move that Joe Archer just made in the number 8. He swung out of the low side. He picked up his teammate, Jim Black. They've picked up at least one position. Now they've got all the way up to the Scott Schroeder machine. That's side by side for third down the back straightaway.
But look at that triple six machine. Guzman starting to come up through the field too on the top side. And right now he's fifth in line on the top side, and he used that to his advantage when these guys drop down to the bottom. Phil, he's starting to make some headway too. And also Shane Vickers in that number 38. He's on the top side. So these guys fighting tooth and nail for every inch around the Talladega Superspeedway.
I got to ask, Todd, you made mention of that triple sixes there. Emmanuel Guzman riding in that high lane. He was just filling the void that was left there by the truck sweeping from that high lane to that low side. You think that's the right play for the Guzman pit, just staying up in that high side and letting that prevail over the course of a long run?
I think that's probably the best thing he should do right now is just stay in that high groove. That high groove's proved itself all evening long thus so far, as we're on lap 30 of 76, and that high groove has been the most dominant groove here around the speedway. And I think he's got a good shot right now, just sitting there in the top lane and just following these guys.
All right, well, working lap number 30. We'll put 31 up on the board at the line. Last time by, it was Terry Bauman with the race lead. But now we have a battle for that lead off of turn number 4 and through the triangle here. Looks like those Extreme Design trucks, they have marched to the inside line. It's Joe Archer filling that inside line with help from Jim Black and Keith Patton. Maybe move those guys up to the race lead, Todd. They have a great march off of turn 2.
Yeah, great march off of turn 2, but down the back straightaway, here comes the high groove battling back. Terry Bauman down on the top side, trying to get up alongside of the number 8 machine, and that being Joe Archer. Archer right now currently leading, coming into corner number 3. The 086 of Jim Black is all over the rear bumper of Joe Archer, coming through 3 and off of 4. Let's see what kind of momentum shift that these trucks have on the top side. Look at Terry Bauman. Bauman really pulling up alongside the number 8 of Joe Archer here through the trial. We're going to have to see who's going to lead at the line. I'm almost willing to bet, and it's going to be Terry Bauman leading at the line. So you can see the momentum when the lanes are about equal and the trucks are pretty much equal right now, line to line. You can see how much more of an advantage that top group has. Yeah,
you see the insane thing about this right now, Todd. 31 trucks still in touch with this lead pack, separated by a second and a half throughout that lead pack. 2 wide, up and down. It's making for some terrific pictures here, as Rich always gives us anytime we come to Talladega. And trust me, we come here a lot. We see this racing quite often. It's Terry Bauman up in that high lane in the 669. Brian Bliss there filling the gap in that outside line, racing along with Joe Archer for that second spot. Looks like the outside line, Todd, starting to creep a little bit more forward as they come through the trial.
Yeah, I think some of these guys shifted a little bit out of line, and these guys trying to get ready. I'm almost willing to bet that green flag pit stops will be coming up here pretty soon. But I see some people saying nice save in the chat box, or not the chat box, but in the box here in the communications that we have with these drivers. But I think some of these guys, either they're dropping to the back, Phil. I'm not sure what's going on with the 8 and the number 10 machine. They may be going to pit side here.
Well, the 8 and the 86 definitely have just kind of woed that thing on a line there in that low side. They were up marching for the race lead. We'll have to look to maybe to see if we can't get the punt cam on screen here in a lap or so to see if the 8 and the 86 maybe dive their way onto pit road. Seems to be a little bit early here. They stay on the racetrack, but they've certainly pulled out of that lead pack, Todd. Maybe just conserving, but looking back up through this front of this lead pack, somebody making a big charge through that top 10 is the number 60 of Zach Freemal. Last time by, he was 12th. This time by, currently scored in the 7th spot. Zach Freemal starting to move forward, Todd, of that number 60.
Yeah, Fremont was at one of his not-so-favorite tracks last night in the Richmond International Raceway. Now Fremont, I know Fremont is not liking the Talladega Superspeedway either, but right now it looks like he is liking it in that number 60 machine. He's making a charge on the top side of the speedway with that 038 machine of JT Mayhew. Mayhew working on the top side. Looks like we're going to have green flag pit stops coming up here. They're coming down on pit road, Phil. Here comes a whole bunch of them.
Oh, a whole gaggle of them, as you said, including there the number 032 of Brian Bliss. He was currently in that second spot last time by. He's brought that NOS Energy machine, orange and white, down to pit road. He qualified real well. He's going to be all the way to the far side of pit road. We'll see what the strategy play is for the Brian Bliss camp, having a great run of it here so far in the 032. He'll hit the sign absolutely perfectly. Looks like a little contact there between him and looks like the Mark Pagley machine just got him a little bit of cockeyed there. But it's right side tires in the air for Brian Bliss. Looks like it may be just 2 right side tires. No, look at this swing to the left side. It's going to be a 4-tire pit stop. 2 right side tires for Mark Pagley just ahead. What's up on your end of pit road, Todd?
I've been watching the leaders, Phil, and here comes some more guys down on pit road being led by Terry Bauman. You got Scott Schroyer coming down on pit road, Sean Lockyer, Chris Van Vliet coming down on pit road. But I'm following with Terry Bauman in that 669 machine, having a good run thus so far here in Last Chance Qualifier number 1 here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Bauman coming to the aid of his pit crew. Let's see what kind of calls they're going to make. The crew chief has called left side tires on that 669 machine. Left side tires up in the air. They finish the services on the left side. They're not going over to the right side. They're filling it up with the rest of the gas, and he's down and away, Phil.
Looks like gas and go only here down on this end of pit road for the 55 of Scott Schroyer. As we look to pit road, looks like maybe this next group being led by JT Mayhew may be making their way toward pit road. JT on the brakes there in that Napa brakes, number 038, down, almost locks the tires up there. Hopefully not too much there to flat spot those getting on the pit road. It looks like maybe just a spinner as they get down there. Todd, did you catch who that was?
Yeah, it looked like the 115 of Sean Lockyer got on the gas a little too quick coming off of pit road, and he spun it out in that 115 machine. So that's going to be a tough break for him, trying to see where he's at on the speedway. Yeah, he's now joining on to turn 1 and 2 here, coming off of 2. So Sean Lockyer, costly mistake coming out of the pits.
I'm over here in the JT Mayhew pits, at least right side tires for him. Looks like it's left side tires for Herman Reese just behind him in the 590. Looks like going to be 2 tires just on the pit road. Also 2 tires for Hamilton Barrera in the 022. Those guys all down and away.
Yeah, seeing who else is coming down pit road. Looks like somebody's coming down pit road, and I can't quite catch up with them. It looks like Vickers, maybe. Yep, Shane Vickers in that number 38 machine. He's coming down to the aid of his pit crew, Bomb Squad Racing machine. Looks like the 032 of Brian Bliss is also back in. Some kind of penalty for the 032 machine of Brian Bliss. Tough break for Brian as he was running real well, and I think it's one of those penalties that you have to drive through, Phil, in that 032 machine. But I'm here in the 38 pit of Shane Vickers. Vickers getting left side tires aboard the number 38 machine. Does not look like he's going to take right side tires. He is indeed not going to. Full tank of gas now, and he's down and away.
All right, well, yellow flag is on the speedway, Todd. Not sure we'll put the yellow flag out there, but just at the tail end of this round of green flag pit stops, that may trap a couple of guys, here 1 lap down. We'll have to let all the timing and scoring recite here is see the DRTV pace fan exiting turn number 2. But a developing situation there for Brian Bliss, Todd. He may be saved by this black flag, but he made one of those critical mistakes. You cannot make a mistake here under green flag at Talladega. I'm sure Brian Bliss is thrilled to see the caution flag.
Yeah, I'm sure he is thrilled to see the caution flag. Still trying to look through to see what happened after green flag pit stops. We're under yellow flag number 2 here of the evening. Last Chance Qualifier number 1 of the NRT Game Servers 499 here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Still looking to see what happened there, Phil. I'm not sure what happened.
I'm trying to skip through it myself, see if I can't find something that went awry there. We saw a lap before that Sean Lockyer go around, but maybe just to the situation of somebody just spinning, exiting pit road. We're going to let Rich Patton tell the story here as soon as he gives us the word that he may have found something, but getting the word there, we're not exactly sure there, so. So we're just now to the halfway marker, 38 of 76 laps up on the board. We're going to let these guys recycle, let timing and scoring reset. We're going to take a quick break here on DRTV and pause for a quick word here from our friends at ISI. And we welcome you back to a DRL Network live coverage of Last Chance Qualifying Race number 1 for the NRT Game Servers 499. What will happen 2 nights from now on Saturday night? We're here at the Talladega Super Speedway under yellow flag number 2, just at the conclusion of a round of green flag pit stops. The last cycle was coming on and off pit road, and I believe, Rich Patton, we saw somebody just getting up off of pit road. It's maybe a little too gingerly there in a spinner there, bringing out yellow flag number 2.
Yeah, sometime the monstrous motors in these trucks get a little bit away from these guys. We're going to watch Dakota Wilkins in the 53 come out of the pits. Took us a while to find this one. Was looking for something out on the track. Didn't quite find it. But he's on his way coming out of the pits. We'll go ahead and run this at full speed real quick. He gets on the throttle. Tough brake. Got the rear end loose. Tries to save it. He's going to put that thing sideways right up on the track as oncoming traffic's coming. He tried to get out of the way, but he was up there long enough, just long enough for the officials to say, no go, we're not going to do that today. I'm throwing the yellow flag on this crowd. Back up to you guys.
All right, well, that was a different approach there to that replay there, Rich, under the yellow flag there. Dakota Wilkins is swallowing some speed bumps there, exiting pit road. And Todd Stanton, we've done this 100 times here at Talladega. Just tell our viewers, and I'm sure they all know being racers themselves, but just how difficult is it here getting up and on and off pit road here at Talladega at high rates of speed under green?
It's tough. You're going 190 miles an hour, getting it down to 55 miles an hour, Phil, down to pit road, and then you have to nail your pit stop. But when you're coming off of pit road, you got to be careful not to get on the gas like Dakota did there too hard, because you've got fresh tires underneath you, and they're cold. They're real cold, and then all of a sudden something like that will happen if you just mash the gas and you actually just the back end kicks out, and if you're not ready for it, you're going to spin, just like Dakota just did right there.
All right, well, still waiting the lights to go out atop a DRTV pace fan, currently working lap number 48. Light still on. Current race leader is the Sidewinder, Scott Schroyer aboard the 55, Jeremy Hebel, Craig Meyer, Jason Skaraki, Jeff Marble. That is your current top 5. Barry Willingham, Shane Vickers, Hamilton Barrera, Herman Reese, Zach Freeman. That is your current top 10. Chris Von Vliet, Roger Bevins, Ed Finley, and Matt Lesnusi. That's your current top 15. 16 through 20, Bruce Heil, Emmanuel Guzman, Jim Black, Joe Archer, Robbie Nice is currently in the 20th position. Keith Patton, 21st. Bill Martino, 22nd. Dakota Wilkins, 23rd. Brian Bliss, 24th. It's Mark Paglia. He's running currently 25th in the 428. Doug Woolley is 26th. Sean Lockyer, Tony Fox, Terry Bauman, Jeffrey Goodpasture. That's your top 30. Last truck on the speedway in 31st, one lap down, is Rich Warden, Randy Snyder, Max Moreno, and Charles Super. Those drivers have pulled it behind the wall. They're out of the event. Their nights and their weeks here in NRT 499 week is over. That is your full field rundown, sponsored by the DRL Network. The lights, Todd Stan, are out atop of DRTV Pace Fan. We're about to light the wick. We've seen an exciting first half of this race, and I think you're going to see the excitement level probably just about triple here as we get through the second half of this race.
Yeah, indeed, Phil. It's probably gonna triple, maybe even quadruple. We're seeing guys flash by, getting the lucky dogs. But these guys gotta be thinking now what they're gonna do in the second half of the race and who they're gonna partner up with. You're seeing some guys start to find their partners and their tangoing, dancing partners on the track now, and they're gonna make their charges to the front if they can do so. And you're gonna see some of these guys, Phil, some of these strategies. You'll see some of these guys that are mired back in the 21st, 22nd, 23rd position, right along there. You're going to see some of those guys start trying to make some moves and see where their limits are as they come through the pack.
Yeah, you can't imagine from here, where are the limits? I think you're going to see all these guys wrestle what these limits are between speed and chaos. They said, we're transferring 3 drivers tonight. Only 3 guys in this big event here, this last chance qualifying race number 1. They punched their ticket to Talladega. 2 nights from now, it's going to be 36 trucks strong here Saturday night from Talladega. From Texas Motor Speedway, rather. Thank you for the correction there, Rich. Just way ahead of myself here, looking at a DRTV Pace Fan going down pit road. Said 3 transfer tonight, 3 tomorrow night. That'll put the 36 on the racetrack at Texas 2 nights from now, but we still have 1 left here to settle. 3 transfer here, 41 laps up on the board. The DRTV Pace Fan on pit road. Loud pedal is down, Todd. Green flag in the air.
Loud pedal is indeed down. Scott Shorter up through the gearbox as quickly as he can in that 55 machine. He's got Jeremy Hebel in that second spot. Craig Meyer, the Punisher, after that contact earlier in the race, he's running 3rd. 4th is Pantelica, Barry Wilmington. He's running on the bottom side now, trying to take over that the 3rd spot there from Craig Meyer. They're side by side, bottom group starting to try to get some momentum down there here early on in the going. But again, that top line forming, and as soon as somebody jumps out of line, Phil, they all go right back to the top side. You're seeing Jeff Marble up there, and in that number 65 machine, Jeff Marble trying to make some headway. 3 wide.
3 wide off of turn number 4. Hamilton Barrera in the 022. He drove it deep off of turn number 4. He shot all the way up through into the top 5. Now making the march to that high lane, looking for that 3rd spot. He's battling Craig Meyer, Todd, in turn 1.
Yeah, he shot the gap all right through the middle of the speedway. What a fantastic move by Hamilton Barrera in that 022 machine, trying to make some headway here. Later, early in this going, he's trying to get up towards the front of the field. We haven't talked much about Hamilton Barrera. He started towards the tail of the pack there early on in the race, but Barrera making some moves now, moves himself into 4th. He's 1 spot out of that transfer, Phil.
Yeah, 1 spot out of that transfer spot is the 022. Inside line trying to make that march. Barry Willingham of the 56 doesn't quite have enough dance partners in that low lane to make it work. High lane has strength and numbers, Todd. You're seeing that top 5 prevail. They bring even more to the likes of JT Mayhew and all those guys on back. They're marching to the front. That's 7 trucks strong at the front of the field.
7 trucks strong in the front of the field here right now. Zach Freeman making a good run in that 60 machine. He's made himself into the top 5. He's well aware of what it takes to get around the Talladega Super Speedway. Now Freeman into that 5th spot, and there's quite a battle going on from 6 on backfield. They're 2x2. It looks like this front pack is starting to get away from them.
Yeah, it looks like a move at the front of this field too. Hamilton Barrera, he's pulled it to the low side, looking for that 3rd spot alongside Craig Meyer. Not sure he's going to have enough drafting help there, as it looks like a lap car going 1 lap down to the rears as they flash by them. That's going to solve the momentum of the Barrera machine in the 022. He'll drop back now outside the top 5 off of turn 4 down the front straightaway.
Yeah, Wilhelm looking down onto the bottom side in that number 56 machine, trying to battle with Zach Freemal. He's trying to take back the 4th position in that number 56. Freemal, though, working good on the top side of the speedway in that number 60 machine. He's going to be able to hold on to 4th. Here comes Herman Reese. Reese now in that 5th position in that 590 machine. Roger Bevins way up on the top side, trying to get a 3rd groove going, Phil.
Yeah, he sure is. And I'm watching that sleek black Cadillac there, that 590 of Herman Reese. He shot the gap there. Looked like he was going to make a dive bomb move there for the 4th spot. He lost all his momentum there. Maybe a little bit of a door check there just up alongside. Not sure if you call who that was, Todd. It looked like it might have been the Shane Vickers machine to the 38. Those 2 trucks making hard contact. Everybody pointing in the right direction. That is great racing for the 4th spot now into turn 1.
Yeah, Shane Vickers did make a little bit of contact with a 590 of Herman Reese. Reese still gathered it back going. That was a door check, a beautiful door check, I'm going to say, if you're going to call it anything. But they both kept it going, did not cause a wreck. But now you're seeing the number 38 of Shane Vickers starting to make some moves up there. I believe he's behind the Chris Van Vliet machine, the 010 machine. He's starting to make a charge to the front. Vliet now into 2nd. His yellow flag number 3 is going to fly on the speedway, Phil.
Yellow flag number 3 indeed on the speedway. Not sure what quite transpired there to bring it out. I'm going to try to scroll back here, as I know both of you guys will, to take a look what happened. If these guys not racing back to the caution flag, it looks like it's going to be Scott Schroyer who's going to have the lead here at the start-finish line with Chris Van Vliet, Jeremy Hebel, Shane Vickers, and Barry Willingham. That's going to be your top 5. Todd, did you get a quick look at that to see who might have been involved?
It looks like the 069 or the 669 of Terry Bauman's involved. The 53 of Dakota Wilkins involved. The 086 of Jim Black also involved in that incident. Didn't see what went on or what transpired to cause that, Phil, but I see a lot of trucks spun around and just trying to get back up to speed here.
All right, well, I believe Rich may be close to ready with a DRTV replay. So, Rich Patton, let's start down to you in the booth.
Yeah, guys, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. We're going to be watching Jim Black, Terry Bauman, and Dakota Wilkins during all of this. It looks like there's a little bit of contact with Jim Black that's going to upset his truck. He's right there in the middle, right behind the 71. They make a little bit of contact. 71 saves it. The 86 going to come down, just connect with the back of the 99. But Terry Bauman involved. He's the one that got up there into Jim Black, put him up on 2 wheels. Let's see if we can't zoom this in a little bit better, see what's going on up there with Jim Black. Move the camera around a little bit. I know we had another truck over here. Let me get over here as well to see who's in there. The 050 or the 53 of Dakota Wilkins also involved in that a little bit. So tough break for these guys. There's the other guy I'm looking for. JT Mayhew's also involved in this one. Looks like he might have got tagged a little bit. Nope. Yep, he probably got tagged a little bit by Terry Bauman as Terry came down, bouncing it off the wall. That's going to send JT Mayhew up into the wall as well. So definitely 4 trucks involved. We're looking at Mayhew, Watkins, Bauman, and Black.
All right, 4 trucks involved. Looks like maybe some heavy damage to those guys involved, Todd. Realistic damage here at Talladega. Certainly not what you want to be. You do not want to be involved in any kind of carnage here. You don't want to wrinkle up these fenders or any kind of aerodynamic damage to these things. It can certainly put a damper in your night real fast.
Yeah, certainly could. Certainly can put a damper. Certainly could put a damper on your night with the realistic damage. There was a spinner on pit road. I'm not sure who it was on pit road. It looks like the 038 of JT Mayhew around in that Napa sponsored machine. That's who I think I see there, Phil. The 038 of JT Mayhew.
It was right at the tail end of pit road, almost down to very exit to pit road. Not sure what happened there, but it looks like somebody was just trying to turn right to get out. Somebody turning left to get into their pit stall, and just contact there. Somebody went sliding. Not sure they went all the way around, but something not quite happening right there on pit road. Looks like it might have been JT Mayhew and Mark Paglia. Rich, did you get a better look at that?
Yeah, I did. We're going to keep our eyes on the 038 of JT Mayhew, and you guys said it. One thing you got to know that pit road at Talladega is like chaos during happy hour traffic jam. I don't know what else you can say. You got a lot of guys going in the same direction and the opposite directions all at once. We're going to watch JT come through here. He's looking for his pits. He didn't realize Paglia was coming out. He's still got his eyes on his pits. Tough break for Paglia and JT Mayhew. They're going to play bumper cars right there on pit road. Meanwhile, there's other traffic coming. JT Mayhew is all jacked up now. He's not going to be able to get over there into that Napa pits. He's still rolling back. Going to stop it finally when he backs it up into Doug Woolley at the 99. Tough break for JT Mayhew. We also see the 115 there struggling a little bit to get into his pit. So a lot of chaos going on pit road right now tonight, guys.
It's one of those things here, Todd, where you put 30 drivers coming on and off pit road at the exact same time, guys weaving in and out of pit road. You know, carnage can happen there, contact can happen, and unfortunately for like the JT Mayhew, Mark Paglia, those guys involved, it's one of those things that happen here at Talladega when you're just doing all you can here to dodge traffic, as you do on any pit road anywhere we go.
Yeah, it's tough. Everybody going in and out of pit road, and talking to some of the drivers, if you don't qualify up in them top 5 positions, or even if you do qualify in them top 5 positions, I'd rather be sitting towards the tail end of pit road so I can get in and out of my pit stop a little bit easier. You know, it's just hard when they're coming down and you're seeing people come in and come out, and they're all different strategies: 2 tires, no tires, 4 tires. So you're going to have different timing issues on pit road, and it's unfortunate that some of them things happen.
Yeah, some of those things certainly can happen. Just looking up and down pit road, just seeing anybody else maybe ducking on here at the tail end of this caution flag. Lights still out on the DRTV pace fan. Extended caution flags here, Todd. Looking at the board, 49 laps, 76 laps to distance. Do you think anybody can possibly stretch the fuel?
I don't think so, Phil. I think they're going to have to come in for at least a splash. We would have to ask a fuel expert, and I'm not one of many of these races on fuel mileage. I'm not real good at that. Usually I run out of fuel, but I can save a little bit of fuel, but I think that's going to be a little too much.
Maybe just a little bit too much to save. Can't imagine you're going to see guys out there maybe not clutching it to saving all the fuel they can here, as we're still about a lap and a half away from putting this thing back under the green flag conditions. But of course we're here this week celebrating NRT Game Servers. Dave Stanley over there at NRT, great customer service. Find him at nrtgameservers.com. Looking for anything at all, team speaks, game servers. He's got, of course, NASCAR rating 2003, R Factor Group, so much great stuff. nrtgameservers.com. Check Dave Stanley out over there. Get yourself hooked up. And Todd, I believe you have a chat box update for us.
Yeah, I'm always reading this chat box and seeing what was going on, and some of these guys making some suggestions down here of what some of these drivers are going to be doing. And I've seen one of them, and it was Chuck McClure. He's down there in the chat box, and he's saying next stop, 0 tires, just 1 can. That's what he's saying that these guys are going to do on their final pit stop.
Yeah, it's just consensus there. Chuck McClure there, one of the few guys there in the chat box, Also, BSR Mo, I believe that might have been Mike Morrison, if I'm mistaken, right? I think he's also saying no tires, 1 can of fuel. So something we can look for, Todd, with 27 laps to go here at Talladega. Still a lot of racing left to decide. Top 3 drivers transfer out of tonight's race into Saturday night at the Texas Motor Speedway. 30 trucks plus still on the lead lap. Everybody on the racetrack is about back in the lead lap, with the exception of Brian Bliss in the 032. Not sure he was a benefactor of a lucky dog on this last caution flag. He is a lucky dog. That's going to put the entire field, 30 trucks, still onto the lead lap at Talladega, Todd. It's truly anybody's race from here with 25 laps left to go.
Yeah, it's going to be truly anybody's race here with 25 laps to go, like you said, Phil. And we're starting to get down to the nitty gritty here. About 20 laps to go, I think you're going to see people starting to shuck and jive a little bit more than they have already. And you're going to start seeing that 3 and 4 wide that we're used to seeing at the Talladega Super Speedway. These guys aren't going to give an inch. They want into the NRT 499. Everybody wants into this NRT 499. Even me, Phil. I wanted into it, but I have to be up here in the booth and can't race and talk at the same time. I have a hard enough time trying to control one of these trucks around these tracks.
Well, I think you and I both wanted a piece of this. Does it get any better than this? The amount of top-notch talent we've seen. We brought the entire community as a whole together, celebrating that this week over here at DRL Network. And you and I both, we're racing hard. We'd love to be out there trying our hand and getting to one of these things. But to listen to those contract negotiations between you, me, and Rich, those quite didn't go so well. we're supposed to get up in the booth this week, you know, not going to allow us to do that Jeff Gordon thing, come out of the booth and race one more time. Not going to happen. So we'll have to turn our attention here back onto the racetrack. The van is in. Loud pedal about to go down. Green flag in the air.
Green flag back in the air. Van Vliet leads them down here, going to be into corner number 1 in that 010 machine. 60 of Zach Freemau right there in second. Jeremy Hebel is in third in that 001, the double knot 1 machine. He's running in that third spot. Fourth is Scott Schroyer. Fifth is Herman Reese. These guys working well together right now. They are single file down the back straightaway, lap and a half to get up to full song. Then you're going to start seeing some moves. If not, down the back straightaway, some of these guys might start making some headway here.
Well, nobody in the top 10. Well, on the first one to duck out of line, the 38 of Shane Vickers got a great run at the outside line. He's flashed by the Craig Meyer machine. Now he's up alongside Herman Reese. That's racing for the 5th spot, side by side off of turn 4.
Yeah, and as quick as he flashed by, he hit one of those invisible walls, Phil, in that number 38 machine, and he just stalled right out. And as fast as he went up front, he's going back faster.
He lost 3 positions on that battle. Did Shane Vickers down, dropping all the way back to the 8th spot when they hit the start-finish line. 52 laps up on the board, all chasing the number 010. Chris Von Vliet up at the front of this field. Zach Freemau, Jeremy Hebel, Scott Schroyer, and Herman Reese. That is your current top 5. The story is, though, 3 drivers transferring out. Only that 3rd position matters here tonight. Those top 3 drivers want to punch their way into the Texas Motor Speedway Saturday night. We're seeing guys start pulling on a line, Todd. Maybe 2 wide action for the 3rd spot.
Yellow flag going to fly again, Phil, here to Talladega Super Speedway. Not sure what happened. I almost think it was the 115 of Sean Lockyer. I see him around here slow on the back straightaway. So Sean Lockyer involved. I think that's the only truck involved, Phil.
Yeah, definitely seeing the 115 slow on the inside, and looks like, just looking at it, Todd, looks like maybe it might have been an engine expiring there. We'll let Rich tell that story, but I think the word we're getting from race control sounds like mechanical failure. Tough break for Sean Lockyer. He sat on the pole tonight. Here's about an hour ago here, we took the green flag. The good news for him, that fast time, puts you up to the front of the field. But as we said here at Talladega so many times, it certainly doesn't matter where you start. It's where you finish. And unfortunately for Sean Lockyer, Rich, it looks like his night may be over.
Yeah, you got that correct. His night is going to be over. We're going to go ahead and run this one out at full speed because he's going to get through the whole corner. But you're going to watch that motor let go. Sean Lockyer in the 115, it just popped there. Thank goodness he was able to keep it under control and woe that truck down a little bit, get it back down on the apron and whatnot. But engine expire, it looks like, could have been something else that caused it. But that motor let go, and when that thing lets go, your night is over. So tough break for him. At least he qualified good, so he may be in a good position. We'll have to see how this thing ends.
All right, well, he did qualify real good. I don't know if you can qualify any better on the pole, but when the alternate sort out, you're going to take the top 3 out of these things tonight. It's going to be based on your transfer position here, your finishing position. That's going to relegate Sean all the way outside the top 30. Looks like, unfortunately, Todd, Sean had a strong truck, but his week appears to be over.
Yeah, I believe his week is over in that 115 machine. He is behind the wall, so piston in that 115 machine. Tough break for him. A beautifully prepared 115 machine. A lot of guys down on pit road. We had contact on pit road there just a little bit. Looks like Jason Skaraki in the number 70 machine. Looks like he overshot his pistol and got into the back of the number 19. No, he actually was in the wrong pistol, the number 70 machine. That's comical down there on pit road.
Well, I can't say I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty of that. Once upon a time, pulling into the wrong pit stall, asking what the heck happened, and they're not pitting my truck. And fortunately for Jason there, it looks like that may have just happened to him. We'll clown on him later. But one thing we got to highlight that we know Jason as J-Rock in this community, responsible for a lot of these racetracks, also responsible out there for that DRTV Pace Fan. Rich, tell us the background about that thing. It's a party here at Talladega. We've already had to retire one van from all the parties here at Talladega. Hopefully this one built a little bit more tough because we still got one more night here left to go, and it's definitely going to be a party atmosphere when we get back here tomorrow night.
Everybody wants the van. So let's tell you about the van. I don't know much about the van other than it's fast. It is wicked fast. It's so fast we had to put that safety markers on the bumpers so people knew when it was coming at them so they didn't get run over. Amazingly fast. And this is round 2 or 3 for that van. We tried to sell the original van because, we just put too many miles on it racing for a little while. But this pretty new van, I was being told by Joe's Meat Market, they're the ones that bought our original van. We had to let that one go because now we got a nice pretty one. And J-Rock did such a fantastic job on this. I believe Mike Ross is the one to put the motor in it, and he won't tell us what's in it. But between J-Rock and Mike Ross, we got one quick little van out here. And I think it's going to hold up pretty good to get us through the rest of this event. So we're excited about the van. It's looking good out there. And I don't know what else to tell you. That van is just wicked fast.
Well, Rich, as we continue on under the caution flag, just outside of 20 laps to go, looks like we're well good within the fuel window from here. I think these guys are all going to be good on fuel and tires from here. So this thing stays under the green flag. It's definitely going to get exciting. But we got to talk about more. We can't touch on enough here this week. The community atmosphere here. All these leagues coming out represented. Over 17 leagues. We had 163 drivers sign up for this big event. So much great participation this week, and it's just a big hats off to everybody out here, everybody that got involved, the drivers, the admins, all these different leagues. It's just a big hats off to these guys, Rich, and it's just been so cool to be a part of it this week for us here at DRL.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, big hats off to all the leagues involved. There's better than 17 leagues involved in this. We pulled admins from several different leagues out there to be a part of this and, keep the things running as smooth as possible. And as you mentioned, we had 163 drivers registered for this event. We've already gone through 6 qualifying races to get where we are today. We've got tonight, we've got tomorrow to throw the last 6 people in the final 499-mile race at Texas Motor Speedway come Saturday night. So it's going to be huge. And one thing I always say in every one of these qualifying races, I get down there during their drivers meeting and I let them know that they're here to have a good time. Yes, be competitive, but have fun, enjoy this. This is all about them, and it's all about the community. We're not getting nothing out of this. We're doing this for the community because we want it to grow, we want it to continue, and, hats off to everybody involved, including the drivers. They're the ones that put this event or are making this event happen for us. So congratulations. Everybody out there is a winner, and I don't know what to tell anybody in 4th position or back tonight.
Well, everybody said, I think it's a win-win for the entire community. Such a great atmosphere. Everybody a part of it this week. The diversity here, looking out in the YouTube chat box, seeing Tim Knopskers, the Carson Corinnes, the David Days, Chuck McClure, all those guys, John Forgione's out there, Brian Schilling, Andre Fiorini, all those guys just bouncing back and forth, so much chatter, so many just different conversations going on, talking about the strategy for the end of this race, talking about what's going to transpire here in these closing laps. The excitement level, Todd, is about to pick up. We're still about a lap away from putting this thing back under the green flag. It looks like everybody may be coming back one last time to pit road to top off on the fuel. And if I'm one of them guys out there anywhere on this field, I think that's the right call.
Yeah, 4 or 5 trucks stayed out on the field. That being the 88 of Craig Meyer, Scott Schroyer, Dakota Wilkins in the 53 machine stayed out. I believe Jason Skaraki stayed out. Tony Fox, they stayed out. There's, I think, 6, Bruce Heil, Shane Vickers, Joe Archer. The first guy coming off of pit lane was the 590 of Herman Reese. So those guys, I think, have made their bed, Phil. I don't think they're coming back in. Those guys that are out there on the field, 7 trucks stayed out. So I think they've made their bed, and I think either they're banking on another yellow flag or they've saved enough here, Phil, and they feel comfortable they're going to make it to the end.
Well, is this thing going to go green, or is this thing going to see another caution flag? Business is about to pick up here with about 20 laps to go. I want to put the call out to the YouTube chat box. I see an even 70 in there watching right now. I wonder what you guys are all thinking out there. I see the likes of Bob Tompkins is always out there. Michael Scott's out there now. Is this thing going to go caution-free these last 20 laps, or are we going to see something happen? We haven't seen what we could call the big one yet here tonight. Are we going to see it here? 20 laps to go. YouTube chat box, I want to hear it. Todd, what do you think?
If this call was good, well, they were running in about the middle of the pack. I think this strategy call might might come in play. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you asked me, Phil, because I was paying attention to the YouTube chat box. So really wasn't paying attention to you tonight.
Little bit of a mix-up in communications there tonight. DRTV's having evidently. So, yeah, we'll let these guys work out their differences on the air and get back to calling this race, as it looks like the pace van is off the track, guys. We're getting ready to go green.
All right, well, Todd, we always know you're ready to steal my spotlight on the racetrack. You got to let me have it up here in the booth as the van has found its way to pit road, about to put this thing back under the green flag. The has been and the never was. 20 laps to go here left of this last chance qualifying race number 1. Green flag's in the air.
Green flag is in the air. Craig Meyer is your current race leader. Scott Schroyer second. Third is the number 53 of Dakota Wilkins. Those guys did not pit. Just Skaraki, Tony Fox, Shane Vickers, Bruce Heil, and Joe Archer. Those guys did not take a pit stop for fuel. The rest of the guys on back, 8th on back, did take pit stops for fuel. So we're going to see what's going to play out here. All kinds of moves here towards the front of the field. And first one out of line looks like to be the number 70 of Jason Skaraki. Skaraki down on the bottom side. He's making one whale of a pass down on the bottom side.
Yeah, he almost made it down there, a 2-wide pass. It was Shane Vickers of 38. I saw out of the corner of my eye there. He almost made it 3 wide. He pulled it all the way now back to the high side of the speedway. High lane is on the march, Todd. J-Rock left down there all by himself on the number 70. He's got some help from, it looks like it may be Tony Fox there in the 33, but not happening there. Outside line prevailing into turn 1.
Yeah, outside line is prevailing. Looks like Van Vliet was going to go down to the bottom side and help those guys. He thought better of it. He seen that high groove and how fast they were going along, and they're still motoring along. Van Vliet went to the high side. 3-wide battle here in the middle of the pack. Actually about 4th, 5th, and 6th here, Phil. Van Vliet way up on the top side. What a move by the 010 machine.
Yeah, it sure was. He made, the high, wide, and handsome, as we would call it, trying to make something happen. You got to transfer through the top 3 tonight. Look up to the front of him. Bomb Squad Racing teammate Shane Vickers in the 38. He's alongside Dakota Wilkins, but same story, Todd. No help on a low side. Here comes Joe Archer in the number 8. That's racing for the 4th spot down the front straightaway.
And Joe Archer now moves himself into the 4th spot. Shane Vickers right now currently in that 5th spot, but he's under heavy fire from the 590 of Herman Reese. Reese on the top side of the speedway. These guys 2x2 for that 4th position on backfill. Here comes Vickers down on the bottom side again in that 38 machine trying to make a charge.
Trying to make a charge on that low side, but definitely don't have the numbers there. Vickers down there in the 38. J-Rock, Jason Skaraki in the number 70. Just don't have the numbers to make that run on the low side. They're able to make a big push on the entrance of the corner, but they lose a lot of momentum, Todd, at the exit of these big corners.
Yeah, they do lose a lot of momentum at the exit of these corners, Phil. Like you said, as we're watching Shane Vickers, he's dropping back again. He was all the way up to the number 8 machine of Archer. Now he's starting to make some gain back there through the tri-oval again on the bottom side, but all kinds of momentum on the top side for these guys. That line up top, everybody seems to be running it. And here comes Vickers once again on the bottom side. He's not going away.
No, certainly not going away. A very strong, very, very strong Drunken Cow Jerky, number 38 there for Shane Vickers, racing side by side with Joe Archer. That's for position number 4. Still on the outside looking in. The top 3 at the front of the field, Craig Meyer, Scott Schroyer, Dakota Wilkins. They've punched their ticket to Texas as of right now. Still 15 laps to go. Still 2-wide racing with that 4th spot on back off of turn 4.
Yeah, here comes Shane Vickers again now up alongside the 53 of Dakota Wilkins. Wilkins right now trying to hold off the number 38 machine of Vickers. Vickers battling on that inside, not giving an inch to that number 53 machine on the top side. These guys are pretty close to almost door checking down the front straightaway there. Vickers on the bottom side. He's really hugging that bottom groove, and he's making some moves now up next to Schroyer.
Yeah, he's going all the way up to the 2nd spot. Now maybe looking for the race lead off of turn number 2. Shane Vickers there with help of J-Rock shoving through that low side, side by side. A drag race, Todd, for the race lead as they enter turn 3.
Yeah, drag race down the back straightaway. Again, Craig Meyer on the top side, but Shane Vickers with the help of Jason Skaraki and that 70 machine line has formed on the bottom side. And look at that bottom groove go. Vickers, all kinds of momentum in that 38. He's got Jason Skaraki right behind him in the number 70 machine. Skaraki trying to get up in front of Craig Meyer. Not going to be able to do so there. They're still side by side for second.
Yeah, side by side for that second spot. Great run for J-Rock up there, racing for the race lead. He pushed that 38 of Vickers up to the lead there last time by 62 laps up on the board, 15 laps to go here. 76 the main event distance at Talladega tonight. Last chance qualifying race number 1 from Talladega, trying to advance on the top 3 to the Texas Motor Speedway. 2 nights from now, so much still left to decide. Here comes that high lane. Craig Meyer, Scott Schroyer shooting for that outside line for the race lead in turn 3.
Yeah, they're side by side coming into turn number 3. The 88 of Craig Meyer and Scott Schroyer having quite a bit of momentum coming down the back straightaway into turn number 3. But Vickers again prevailing on the bottom side in that 38 machine. He drifts up the track just a little bit, trying to kill the momentum, trying to pinch him up higher, a little bit higher. And that number 88 of Craig Meyer. And it looks like these guys side by side. They're really almost door checking down the front straightaways. Third line forming, Phil.
Yeah, looking for that third lane to form. That's about for that 7th position on back. It's Chris Van Vliet in that number 010, that Adidas white and blue Chevrolet. The high side off of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. They've got their way up to what, that 6th or 7th position. Chris Van Vliet on the move. 3 wide, a big wreck there at the front of the field.
Big wreck in front of the field, utter chaos down the back straightaway. A lot of trucks involved. That happened right around second place, Phil. That is utter chaos down the back straightaway, and that's what happens at Talladega. Something goes wrong, and you got the big one, and this is the big one here this evening.
Well, you almost feel toward the end of these things, one of that big wreck may be inevitable. It'll look like it might have been contact there between Craig Meyer and Jason Skaraki, racing for that second spot. Contact in that second row there, Todd, and just breaking, just the madness, the chaos all ensues. Multiple trucks all tore up, parading through the grass. The big one, as we call it at Talladega. You know, you thought here were just about a dozen laps to go or so. Something big was going to break loose there, Todd, and I think pretty safe to say all hell just broke loose there off of turn 4 down the front straightaway.
Yeah, that's tough. That was a tough thing to go through there, and a lot of guys benefited from that made it through, and a lot of guys didn't benefit from that. I seen a lot of trucks into the outside wall hard and spinning around like tops and everything else, and it's just tough breaks for a lot of drivers in this field, and it's just a product of Talladega. That's stuff that happens here, Phil.
So this carnage ensuing at the front of this field. It was Shane Vickers who was able to break away with Chris Van Vliet, Herman Reese, Zach Freemow, and Jeff Marble scored 5th last time by. It was contact racing for that second spot between the 70 and the 88. Rich, show us what happened.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on the second and third car there. First, we're going to keep our eyes on Jason Skrocki in the 70. He's running right next to the 88 of Craig Meyer. There's a little bit of contact there. They're right on the corner of each other. That's going to be just enough to force the 70 over in front of the 88. That's going to mess the 88 up, or the 70, the 88, looks like the 53, the 8, the 80, the 18, 56 is sliding in the infield, 69 sliding in the infield. Let's back this back up. There is just entirely too many trucks involved in this. We'll go ahead and play this out as it spins. As you can see right there is half the field involved. At least looks like 3 cars, nope, I was going to say 3 cars might have got through. Looks like only the 124 got through from the back of the pack. Everybody else, looks like maybe the 33 got through as well. Everybody else is either flat spotted some tires or took some damage from bumping and banging amongst each other back in here. So as you can see, we'll flip through these really, really quick. All kinds of trucks involved in this one. The 8, the 53, the 69, the 666, they're all involved. Complete chaos back here on the back side of the track. 54, the 022 might have got through there. That's going to be Hamilton Barrera. There you go, see Terry Bauman up there on the track as well. The 19 may have gotten through. That's Mark Paglia there. The 001 involved, 70 involved. The 18 is involved. The 80 is involved. 56 involved. Just a bunch of trucks involved in this one, guys. Tough break for a lot of these guys.
Oh, tough break for so many involved there. Multiple trucks tore up. It really changed the complexion of the end of this race here, Todd. We're just about outside of 10 laps to go. You know, tough break for all those guys involved, racing up in the transfer spot at the front of the field where we thought we may see the carnage ensue. And certainly good, Todd. That's going to change the outlook for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, definitely going to change the outlook for a ton of these guys out there on the speedway. And look at up front, Van Vliet and Shane Vickers, they're two BSR teammates. Those guys together here at the end. You got Herman Reese, Zach Freemau. They made it through the wreck, I believe, unscathed. And those two cars, those guys both run at RTG, Rolling Thunder Gaming. You got Jeff Marble coming out of the stables of Bullring in that number 65 machine. I believe that's where Jeff Marble runs. Brian Bliss, he's running 6 right now on the field, and he comes out of the the Backyard Sim Racing Garage there. And Maniac Racing, I've seen him over there, and I'm part of those groups. And Brian Bliss has won here an event on DRTV, so it's good to see him having a good run and making it through that total chaos there. But a lot of different changes through the field, Phil, and some of these guys that we have not seen running up front much now are up front because they got through that wreck.
Yeah, they sure did. And it's changed the complexion of things here. We're now 10 laps to go at the line, 66 up on the board, 76 laps the distance here. Last chance qualifying race number 1. You get to these extra distance races here at Talladega, 76 laps. Such a perfect distance because you see so much can happen here. But we talked about all night, Todd. Are we gonna see the big one? Are we gonna see it? We saw it just there. I think when you come to a place like this and you have all this at stake here, I mean, it's the NRT 499. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to win it. Only 36 trucks can take the green flag here Saturday night. 3 drivers transferring onto this big race tonight. I mean, it's just inevitable. These guys trying to do all they can to get into a transfer spot. Tempers may be heated there. These guys are just digging as hard as they can, and that might not be the most proper mentality to have, but, we're all racers, man. You're going to do all you can and dig and do all you can to survive and transfer out of this event.
You can say, Phil, that you're going to just ride around and push somebody, but there's no friends out there at Talladega, or no friends, period, in racing. You could say you have some friends, but it's just not going to happen out there on the speedway. You could pair up with somebody for a little bit, but you're always thinking of ways to even get around your friends so-called friends that you have out there on the speedway. I know that from real racing and dirt. You could sit back there and say, I'm just going to ride behind this guy, but the overall thing, you want to win. You want to get in the top 3 here this evening, so that's the overall thing. You want to get into the top 3, so now you want to project yourself into this NRT 499, the big race here on Saturday night. So there's no friends. There might be a couple pairings if you could stay 1-2, but that third spot, if you're the odd man out, it's going to be tough to hold on to it, and it's just one of them things here at Talladega.
Yeah, it's one of those things that certainly happened here. So we're just waiting to get this thing back under the green flag. 5th time tonight we've seen the DRTV pace fan. I love to see it out there. The lights are out this time around as they work their way towards turn number 1. So a long trek, 2.66 miles. These pace laps can take a couple of minutes here, but looking up and down through the field, 26 drivers still left in a lead lap. We are going to advance the top 3 out of here. Currently, Shane Vickers, Chris Von Vliet, Herman Reese, those currently in the locked-in spots. Hungry drivers like Zach Freemau, Jeff Marble, Brian Bliss, they headline a group from 6th position on back, all vying for them top 3 spots. Todd, how long do you think it's going to take to see these guys mixing it up from outside the top 10? Because from here now, you have to make that whole shot move and try to advance to the front of this field.
It's not going to take very long for these guys to make their moves. They're going to have to, especially in this back end of the field here, they're going to have to make their moves early so they can get up here and be challenging here with 5 to go or 6 to go even.
All right, so I think we're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulty there. Rich frantically at work there at the RTV control booth. Rich is always a great job down there. Not sure if we lost Todd there for a brief second. Heard him cut out. Think we're all still live and kicking here. So the van into turn number 3. Shane Vickers, Chris Von Vliet, Herman Reese currently in your top 5 with Zach Freemau and Jeff Marble running out with top 5. Brian Bliss, Roger Bevins, Jeremy Hebel, Bill Martino, Hamilton Barrera, your current top 10. 11 through 15, Ed Finley, Mark Paglia, Doug Woolley, Jeffrey Goodpaster, Barry Willingham, your top 15. 16 through 20, Keith Patton, Emmanuel Guzman, Dakota Wilkins, JT Mayhew, Joe Archer currently 20th. 21st is Craig Meyer. Terry Baum is 22nd. Jason Skaraki, 23rd. Scott Schroeder, 24th. The Star Fox, Tony Fox, he's currently 25th. The van has found its way to pit road. Todd about to put this thing back onto the green flag here with 9 laps to go.
Reach up there and pull those bells, hopefully for the last time around the Talladega Super Speedway. Shane Vickers leading them down here into corner number 1. Chris Van Vliet in that second spot. Herman Reese running third. Zach Freemel fourth. Jeff Marble fifth. These guys single file right now, lap and a half to get up to full song. We're going to see what happens to these guys as now Marble now making a move down to the inside in that 65 machine. You know what's going to happen to him. The 032 of Bliss now on the top side. He has the momentum, and it looks like Marble hit a wall down there on the bottom side. Marble again trying to make a move down on the bottom with no help. I don't know how much that's going to help him there, Phil.
No, all by his lonesome is Jeff Marble in that black and red Dodge number 65, being freight trained now in that low lane. Brian Bliss going by in the 032. Here comes Roger Bevins in the 124. That's racing for looks like the 7th spot. Double file there. 7th place on back as they hit turn 1.
And 7th place on back, and looking at some of these trucks heavily damaged through the field, and they're still trying to soldier on, trying to, you can actually get into one of the alternate spots here based on finishing a position, and so if somebody don't make it, they can make it into the NRT 499 that has not already qualified. So a lot of different positions up for grabs. 4th would be the hot contested position also, but right now the top 3, you don't have to worry about somebody not making it. Top 3 is still staying single file. That's Shane Vickers, Chris Van Vliet, and Herman Reese. They are your top 3. Zach Freemel running in that 4th spot. 5th is Brian Bliss. Roger Bevins now pulling up to the rear bumper of Bliss down the front straightaway through the tri-oval here at the start-finish line, Phil.
Yeah, and just looking back through the interval, looks like it's about 20 trucks who may have touch in this lead pack. Mostly all single file. It's separated by about 2.5 seconds from first place all the way back to 20th place. Not sure if those damaged trucks there are having a problem holding on to the draft, but we pay attention to the front of this field now with 6 laps remaining. Shane Vickers on that number 38. Chris Van Vliet, his Bomb Squad Racing teammate, flanking to his back bumper, just trying to, pave the way into making this thing into the big NRT 499 this Saturday night. 2 nights from now, it's Herman Reese in the 590, currently in the 3rd spot. The race now looks for the 5th spot. Todd, Roger Bevins, he pulled out a line. Can't quite make that work. And then the outside line, as we said all night long, strength and numbers there are going to leave Roger Bevins hanging on the low side.
Yeah, they definitely left him hanging on the low side. Contact made here through the tri-oval. Wreck in the tri-oval down the front straightaway here, almost into turn 1. It's ensuing here. Looks like the number 8 of Joe Archer, yellow flag going to be in the air for that number 8 machine. So yellow flag, Phil, that's going to make it as we got racing back here to the line, staying on the leaders here on the field. And right now it's Shane Vickers leading them with Chris Van Vliet, and then the 590 Herman Reese. Zach Freemel trying to get underneath Herman Reese. They're almost side by side here through 3.
Side by side for that 3rd spot off of turn number 3. The frantic race back to the line. Looks like Shane Vickers, he may win the race. They're going to be 3 wide for about 4th place on back. Can these guys keep it pointing in the right direction? Fantastic driving by these guys. They're going to be 5 laps to go at the line. I know, Todd, the math is right here with trucks a lap down. We may see a 1-lap shootout if my math is correct. I know we're really close here. This may be another caution flag. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, going to have to see what happens. That was an amazing race there for 3rd on back for that final transfer position and some of those other positions that are pretty key here going into the race. If somebody cannot make it here that's already qualified in, you get one of them alternate spots, and that's pretty key here tonight. And 4th is one of them you want to be shooting for between the 2 qualifiers, and the top qualifying times out of them 4. If it's the 4th place guy, the top qualifying guys will get the number 1 alternate spot. Then the other one would fall back to the 2nd alternate spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's all going to play out, because I know there's a couple drivers that may not make it in, may not make it back in time that have already qualified in, if I believe I'm correct. But sometimes issues do come up, and you're not going to be able to make that big race. And that's what the alternates are there for, Phil. And it's a thing to get in there. Like, we had 5 alternates get in there tonight, and that was awesome to see 5 alternates get in tonight.
No, it certainly was. And it's a big hats off to these guys that are coming out and waiting and see. does a spot open up, and everybody that showed up tonight, all these alternates, they all found their way into the field. The guys that were present here when the bell struck 8:30 time here for when they locked it in, the starting grid locked in. We had 34 drivers take the green flag to transfer 3 out of this thing tonight. As the DRTV pace fan hits the start-finish line, it's going to put 73 of 76 laps up on the board, and just trying to monitor how these last caution flags went here, Todd. This may shape up. I don't want to jinx it, but I think we may be in store for a one-lap shootout. Right.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a one-lap shootout here at the Talladega Super Speedway. But Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton has the replay queued up. Rich, what happened?
Yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on the 001 and the 8 of Joe Archer. Looks like the 001 may have came down and clocked into the door side. Might have, I don't know if 8 came up. Looks like maybe the 8 came up. Not sure about that, but they made contact. That's going to send Archer around a little bit. He comes back down on the nose of the 55. That's going to set him up sideways. Archer's going to get spun, headed off in the middle. We can see the 001. Looks like he's back there, bounced it off the inside wall as well. Going to have to pan this back out a little bit, see if we can see anybody else involved, but it looks like it was just those 2 trucks involved. Looked like the 8 and the 001. Back up to you guys.
All right, well, tough break there for the Joe Archer machine and Jeremy Hebel now relegated back outside the top 25, and we talked about here just a couple minutes ago, Todd, as you alluded to, you know, these finishing positions are so critical when it comes down to getting the alternate sorted out here. If anybody can't answer the bell that's automatically qualified here on Saturday night, 2 nights from now at Texas, you know, these finishing positions, they may be absolutely key to punching their way in. So for guys like Barry Willingham and Zach Freemouth, 4th and 5th, they're going to be hanging on by a thread, hoping to make their way into the NRT 499 here Saturday night.
Yeah, they're going to be hoping to make it here into the NRT 499, one of the biggest events in the NASCAR 2003 community. Again, thank you to all the drivers who participated, 163 drivers, 17-plus leagues involved here in the NRT 499, and thank you goes out to all the admins, the drivers, everybody that helped us get involved and get this race going and set forth here this week, Phil. And we may have not done a 24-hour race, but how many broadcasting crews can say they've done an all-week broadcast?
Well, I think this is positioned up there with the pros here. Night number 4 consecutive on the air. 2 more still left to go. Once again, back here at the Talladega Super Speedway tomorrow night for last chance qualifying race number 2. And then the big one, Saturday night, the Texas Motor Speedway, the NRT Game Servers 499, 333 laps. We will have live, jam-packed, flag-to-flag coverage, as always, right here, 100% live. No tape delays here on the DRL Network. Find us at drlnetwork.com. That is the home base of DRTV. So much great stuff coming up here. He said the NRT 499, 2 nights from now, about a week and a half from now, February the 20th, is the start of a DRL flagship series. The DRTV Premier Cup Series kicks off February 20th from a Daytona International Speedway. The DRTV 300. Be a part of that series. We team up here, DRL Racing. We let the racing sectors hand it out of the TDR Racing. We partner up with them once again in 2016 to bring that great series. Head over to the register for that series, tdr-racing.net. Be a part of DRL's DRTV Premier Cup Series in about 10 days here from Daytona, Todd. That'll make for a great series. You know, that race at Daytona, that's going to be awesome as always. That Premier Cup Series, we're looking for the best of the best, all the heavy hitters to be a part of it. Can't invite them guys, can't encourage them enough to come on over and run with us. And, you know, we're going to broadcast a minimum of 15 of those races here in 2016. You know, great racetracks on the schedule following the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series schedule, all 36 races. It's going to be a great season for Premier Cup Series, and I can't wait to get to that. But let's turn our attention back to the NRT 499 at Texas Motor Speedway. Looking hopefully to see the lights go out atop the van this time by, and if it does, it is going to be a one-lap shootout.
Yeah, I think if they do go out one-lap shootout, that's going to be interesting. We are on lap 74 of 76. We're coming to the line, so that'll be lap 75. We're going to see what happens here, if they're going to turn them lights out atop that DRTV pace van, or if they're going to finish under yellow. It'd be cool to have a one-lap shootout, because the guys in 4th and 5th right now, I bet you are praying for that one-lap shootout so they have one last chance to try to get into one of them transfer spots and not worry about one of them alternate spots, Phil.
Certainly want to punch your ticket into the top 3. Now all the drama. Do the lights go out atop the van? Are we going to see a one-lap shootout as they get to the line? The answer is yes. One lap shootout. What better way to settle it here? Last chance qualifying race number 1. The top 3 drivers will transfer. Can Shane Vickers hold on to that 38? He's got his teammate, that white number 010 of Chris Von Vliet, that Adidas Chevrolet. Herman Reese currently in that 3rd spot. And Todd, I think it's safe to say, let the madness pursue here. It is going to be sheer carnage here, a one-lap shootout. Can't think of a better way to settle the score here at Talladega.
I can't think of a better way, Phil, and it's going to be chaos here on this one-lap shootout. Guys trying to hold on to their positions, trying to gain positions. This is going to be interesting here at the Talladega Super Speedway. All the build-up to all week, and then getting to these last chance qualifying races. All the excitement is going to come down to a one-lap shootout here in last chance qualifier number 1. Who's it going to be, Phil?
I don't know who it's going to be, but I'll tell you what, this YouTube chat box has come alive. It is electric in there right now. All the drama here. 3 spots. Who is going to pave their way to the Texas Motor Speedway 2 nights from now? We're about to find out. The field is in turn number 3. And Todd Staten, if you're out there, if you're behind the wheel, that 38 of Shane Vickers, if you're anywhere in that top 3, what is going through your mind here as you come to this restart here with just one lap to settle it?
I tell you, if you're Shane Vickers, you have your teammate behind you, and I believe he'll stay right there with you. But you do not want to get a huge start because you're going to be a sitting duck here on the speedway. So Shane Vickers has to really watch what's going on. So we're going to see here as the pace van takes that hard left-hand turn for the final time here for last chance qualifier number 1, Phil.
Well, business about to pick up here. As we get down here, the van found its way to pit road the last time tonight. We're going to put the loud pedal down, put us back under the green flag. There is no softies left here on DRTV. The van is in, looking from the green from the starter stand. Green flag is in the air. It is Shane Vickers coming up through the gearbox. A great move for about that 5th on back. Zach Freeman with the big move to the high side, Todd.
Yeah, Zach Freeman right into 3rd, and now he's going to challenge for 2nd in that number 60 machine. He's going to be able to do so. Here comes Vickers throwing the block down there on the bottom side. Zach Freeman, an amazing move. He moves into 2nd.
Yeah, Zach Freeman, the number 60, up to the 2nd spot. Does he have anything from first Shane Vickers in the 38? Here comes Brian Bliss in that 032. He's up to the 3rd spot in transfer position. Here comes Barry Willingham in the 56. He's currently 4th, single file there for the transfer spot off of turn 4.
Brian Bliss now down to the bottom side. Oh, he makes contact with Freeman. Freeman around. Total carnage here on the last lap. Wrecking. Who's going to finish in 2nd?
The whole field wrecking off of turn number 4. I don't know how to call this here at the line. Who is going to win? Looks like it's going to be Shane Vickers in the number 38, winning the race back to the line. Scott Schroyer is going to finish up in the runner-up spot. Jeffrey Goodpaster is going to finish up in the 3rd spot. Holy cow, where did he come from in the 19? Madness, the carnage ensues, and at the line, Todd, those 3 drivers are going to punch their way to the NRT 499.
Wow. Guys, you did not expect, holy cow, is what Rich is saying in my ear. That was one finish, and wow, I could not believe that finish there, Phil. It's some of these guys, I'm sure Scott Schroyer and Jeffrey Goodpaster, and I'm broken up just a little bit because I've lost my voice through that one.
Oh, I've lost it too, my friend. It's gone. I don't know if you get a better finish than that there. Unofficially, it's going to be Shane Vickers taking down the win. Scott Schroyer, the 2nd spot. Jeffrey Goodpaster, he's going to finish up in the 3rd spot tonight. He's going to transfer on unofficially. Now, keep in mind, it's post-race review. Everybody's got to be approved here. Make sure all these guys pass the tech inspections. All the replay review comes back clean. So unofficially, those 3 drivers going to punch their way into the big NRT 499 this coming Saturday night, Todd. Cannot wait to talk with these 3 guys. I'm sure they're ecstatic.
Yeah, I'm sure they're ecstatic, and that helped them there at the end of that race. So we're going to have to see what these guys really think here. As Shane Vickers got to see a mirror full of all kinds of carnage coming down through the tri-oval off of corner number 4. So Vickers, I'm sure, seen a bunch of flipping trucks, and that was a great finish here on DRTV for last chance qualifier number 1.
Yeah, trying to see if we can't get a war with all these top 3 guys here I'm sure the raw emotion here racing through that wreck is just going to be absolute madness there. It's going to be unofficially Shane Vickers with the win. Scott Schroyer finish up on the runner-up spot. And the number 19 of Jeffrey Goodpasture looks like unofficially going to finish up third. He's going to punch his ticket this Saturday night. Let's see if we can't talk to the driver of the 19. Jeffrey, it's Phil from DRTV. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Jeffrey, you must be excited, man, finishing up in that third spot. Congratulations, man. You've made it to the NRT 499.
I really don't know what to say right now. I mean, going from 15th to 3rd, I don't even expect that to happen.
Man, what were you thinking there when you seen all that madness start breaking out in front of you? You're just going to put that thing to the floor, try to steer through that hole, and boom, there it is. Here you are, position number 3, man. What was going through your head watching all that madness ensue around you?
Just hoping not to get caught up in it. That's all I can say.
Well, Jeffrey, congratulations, man. You know, so cool to see you make it through that wreck, get your way onto the podium, and advance to this Saturday night. I want to give you the floor one more time here. I want you to thank your sponsors. Give a shout to who you'd like to thank. I'm sure you're ecstatic down there in the 19 pit.
I want to thank Joe Archer for the paint job of the NWO Extreme Paint Scheme. And I also want to thank my fiance for letting me do this all this week, because she deals with all of this all the time, so she gives me the chance to do this with everybody. And I just want to say thanks to all the racers tonight for a good race and a lot of clean in the middle of the race. But you know, things happen, and sometimes it gives adventures to everybody else.
All right, well, Jeffrey, congratulations there, finishing up in the 3rd spot tonight. No, congratulations, big hats off to him. And Todd, I'm going to throw it down to you. I believe you've caught up with our runner-up finisher, Scott Schroyer, in the number 55.
I tell you what, Scott, that was an amazing chain of events there at the end, and I believe you were right around 15th or 16th there, and you're coming home second out of this after all the adversity that you've had to go through this evening. How's it feel, Scott?
I'm still trying to catch my breath. I don't know how we made that last wreck through that last wreck. I absolutely do not. I mean, it was just smoke out the windshield.
Is one of them things where you just close your eyes and hope and pray for the best, Scott?
No, I was on and off the throttle as cars would appear through the smoke, and then back on the brakes, and then on the throttle, and it's just wow. I'm sitting there in 14th on that restart with 1 to go, and I'm thinking there's absolutely no way I'm going to make this race. And I was kind of disappointed. We'd run up front all night long and just pretty much done what we wanted to do, and we got caught up in a mishap there on the backstretch. And so I pretty much, kind of settled that we weren't going to make it, and we were just going to make the best of it, and it worked out.
Oh, again, congratulations on your 2nd place finish here, Scott. Kind of like a Days of Thunder ordeal coming through the smoke and hoping and praying that other car was not going to be there at the end. But I'm going to give you the microphone, Scott. Thank whoever you'd like to thank. You've punched your ticket to the 499. Congratulations.
First of all, I'd like to thank NRT for putting this on. DRTV, you guys do an excellent job at the broadcasting. Bar none better. Redline Motorsports, Blazing Pedals, and everybody else, that was involved there tonight that helped us get to the front and stay to the front. I kind of like to thank a couple guys out there. Jeffrey Goodpasture, he stayed with us all night, and I appreciate that. So hats off to everybody. Good job.
That's tonight's 2nd place finisher, driver of the number 55. That's the Sidewinder, Scott Schroyer, bringing home 2nd place finish. I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, who is caught up with LCQ winner number 1, Shane Vickers.
Yeah, no kidding. I made my way down here. A heavy crowd down here around the 38 and Shane Vickers. Shane, I don't know if you saw what happened in your mirror going to that checkered flag, but that was absolute chaos, man. You got to be glad you were up front.
Man, most definitely. Rich, that was crazy. That was crazy. I thought they had a shot back there, but they were all fighting for that coveted 3rd place, and you see what happened. They were fighting like hungry dogs. I hate it for some of them guys, but, man, what a race.
Yeah, 10-4, man. I went back and looked at that as quick as I could, and it looks like the 3rd place truck at the time made contact with the 2nd place truck right in front of the crowd. And I kid you not, it looked like everybody stopped moving but you, and then all of a sudden another car came through, and then all of a sudden another car came through, or trucks, I should say. Second and third place came from 14th and 15th place. The rest of the field was combined in that. It was just amazing.
The bad thing about it is I had a friend back there, Chris Van Vliet, and I was like, I thought there's no way he made it through that. I feel bad for him. I owe him a huge debt of gratitude. We worked well together all night long. He is one of the finest pure super speedway racers I've ever had the enjoyment of racing with, and I'm going to give him a big shout out. Thanks a lot, Chris V. You the man.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we all knew coming into this event tonight that this was going to be tough. We had 35, 36 drivers, whatever the number was when we started out tonight. Only 3 got to go in. You had to get to the top 3. You were able to win this thing, man. Congratulations. I'm going to give the floor to you and hand the mic over. The floor is all yours. Think who got you here, buddy. Congratulations again.
Man, thanks a lot, Rich. The great job y'all had putting on these last couple, this event, the event beforehand. I tell you what, I'm so glad that I came out here because I've got to meet some really great people, got to race with with the class cream of the crop sim racers in this game. And we've been under a little black cloud here at Bomb Squad Racing this week. A good friend, teammate Tim Scarborough, lost his father Monday night. And I want to dedicate this win to Bob Scarborough, Tim, Christy, your whole family. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. Love you, buddy. I want to give a shout out to all my fellow teammates, Bomb Squad Racing. Those guys, us working together, being a team, supporting each other. That's why you see a Bomb Squad Racing truck out front. Without those guys, I don't think I would be able to do it. I get all the support, all the friendship, everything you need. Last but not least, I want to thank my wonderful sponsor, DrunkenCowJerky.com, the finest craft-made whiskey-soaked beef jerky on the planet. Visit DrunkenCowJerky.com. Richard Heyman, Mark Heyman down in Dallas, Texas. They make some of the best beef jerky. If you like beef jerky, they soak their jerky in whiskey 24 hours. Then they cook it up, and it's some of the best product you can ever find. I also want to give a shout-out to a couple of guys that I've befriended this week, and they've done a great job doing the admins in here. Sean Prime, David Cannon. I couldn't ask for a better couple of admins in a couple of the races I've been in, and my hat's off to y'all. And hey, where's Todd? Because I want my ticket punched. That's all I got, Rich.
All right, Shane. Well, good. Congratulations on that win tonight. We'll let you get back to your crew and your family to do some celebrating. Guys up in the booth, we're going to send this back up to you. There's your race winner today, Shane Vickers in the 38.
Well, Todd, we knew it coming in tonight for last chance qualifying race number 1 here at Talladega. We start a full field of trucks to take the top 3. You'd expect the exciting finish. We did a 1-lap shootout to settle it, and Shane Vickers, he's excited down the victory lane, and all these guys are top 3. Scott Schroyer, Jeffrey Goodpaster, awesome to see those guys advance. So many big heavy hitters did not advance tonight, but it's just part of this big race atmosphere. This NRT 499 week, one more night here left to go at qualifying. Last chance qualifying race number 2 still here at Talladega. One more night of this carnage, buddy. If tonight was any indication, I think tomorrow was going to be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be an absolute barn burner, and this was a great race, great ending, and heartbreak around the corner for Zach Freemount and Brian Bliss. Those guys had second and third locked up coming out of that corner, and just little incidental contact was made, and it ended the night of some people, but it came in joy for Scott Schroyer and Jeffrey Goodpaster. Those guys bringing home second and third this evening, Phil, and I can't wait for tomorrow.
Wow, cannot wait to get there tomorrow. Check out all the drivers that transfer from later on tonight and also tomorrow night, a 36-truck starting field. DRLnetwork.com is the home of DRTV. We're going to retire here for the night from the Talladega Super Speedway. So for my broadcast partners, Too Tall Todd Stanton, Mr. TV Time Rich Patton, a humongous thank you to Dave Stanley, NRT Game Servers, and all you guys out in the YouTube chat box. We'll see you back here tomorrow night from the Talladega Super Speedway.